just a dime store poet, keeping pace, talking his face
I think to make this a little bit easier to connect
dollar
in the
store
combo,
tramps to get a glance, a new chance at you. Walk past the dance floor that's always been a dear friend of mine. Cuckolds and concubines dancing in 4/4 time.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Chamber of the Wraith. My name is Brian, and today we're doing our first repeat topic here on the WraithCast. Now, repeats, generally things I like to try and avoid, but honestly I didn't have much of an idea for what to do this month, and one of the topics we already covered was such a massive topic that we could talk about multiple times over, which is this topic, Movies 2, Electric Boogaloo, that I decided, why not? Let's do movies again, now that we have a larger cast of people coming in, one of whom will only be in for a little while, but everybody else should be able to stick around for the whole thing. So, don't forget to be awesome, my friends, and please enjoy the WraithCast. And don't forget to voice your opinions in the comments below, of course. Hello,
Willem Dafoe
everybody!
is like, he's like a cryptid.
He really is. And I just love all the memes where it's like Willem Dafoe, more like Willem Defriend. Or like anything like
It's
that.
just like cursed images of like Willem Dafoe's facial expressions.
Yeah.
What the hell did I just walk in on?
We're
talking
talking
about
about
actors.
Willem Dafoe.
Willem de frickin' Vo! Anyway, that's muy fantastic. Introduce yourselves, ladies and germs.
Hi, I'm Honey.
There's
Who
Honey.
first?
We'll have Honey go first.
I introduced myself. Hi, I'm Honey.
There you go.
I'm Mono. I'm around here quite a bit.
Yes, indeed.
I'm Fishbowl or Bull. I am around here every so often.
Yep. And we are going to have... Maddie's unfortunately not going to be able to join us, but Maddie did give me a full suite of answers based off of the topics that we have on hand, so I'll be able to make answer in his stead. And we're going to have another guest coming in about 10 minutes here. So...
Ooh, mystery guest.
Yes. What fun. So, I think we could just start real quick, get the first question out of the way, and then once our special guest comes in, we'll have them pop in and answer a few of their questions. So, this is the first time that we've actually done a repeat topic here on the WraithCast, just because I frankly was out of ideas, and movies is so big we could do, like, literally dozens of episodes on the topic. So, you know, I figured, thanks to the suggestion, I think it was Mono who suggested the movie idea. It was either Mono or Maddie suggest we do movies part 2.
I'm not fully sure. Like, either way, I'm glad we're doing this again. It's always fun to talk about movies. It's such a broad topic that you could really go into any direction with this, since there's so much you could talk about.
Oh, yeah. And as evidenced by the fact that we have 7 brand new questions that, you know, I haven't touched on before. I actually had to go back and watch the old episode to make sure I didn't accidentally throw in a new one, but I guess that concern was irrelevant. So, as always, we're gonna go from, I guess, alphabetical order. So, Honey will answer first, then Fishbowl, then Mono, then me, and then the next question, Fishbowl will answer first, and so on, and we'll just keep cycling through to keep things fresh. But the very first question is that, and I'll also pull double duty for Maddie, is we all have, there's always good movies you enjoy and bad movies you hate, but there's also good movies you hate, and the topic of this question, bad movies you like. You know, those movies that you know are bad, but you can't help but watch once in a while because it's fun regardless. So, the first question I want to ask is, what is your favorite bad movie?
Okay. Well, I had one option, but as I was just listening to you describe the question again, it just a much better answer came to my mind. That is like, yes, this fits the answer much better. Transformers Rise of the Fallen or whatever, the one where they have the Dinobots and the Knight of Excalibur.
That's the fourth one. That's the Age of Extinction.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
This movie is ridiculously stupid, and I adore it. It is probably one of the most unabashedly celebrating its commercialism and shallowness, like just the pill, and the fact that they have an entire scene dedicated to them justifying an underage relationship rather than just making the daughter 2 years older. They go through all of these leaps and bounds, pulling out legal documentation to make
Well,
it
I want
work.
to know how Michael Bay knows this. That's what I want.
like,
I'm afraid of the answer, but I just want
Why
to
is
know.
Michael Bay like this?
Like, they could easily have just made the girl 2 years older and nothing would have happened. But they went out of their way to make her this age and introduce this legal document, derailing the entire pacing of the scene just to explain it for no reason. And I love it.
In the
way-
worst way imaginable.
The way Michael Bay writes and directs female characters always kills me.
Oh,
It's
God.
terrible. Like, one of my favorite things is how... Oh, hey!
Hey!
Hey, Marz.
We just
We're
started, so you haven't really missed out on much.
We're talking about bad Transformers movies.
Yeah, I think Marz is having mic trouble. Hold on, because I can't hear her at all.
I can't hear.
Hi.
Oh, there we go.
It always takes a second for the Discord.
Hey,
There you are.
we got Marz on here. That makes me happy. So Marz is going to
Yay.
hop ahead of Mono. The first question of the thingy is your favorite bad movie, and we got a very entertaining explanation by Honey about their favorite bad movie.
Like,
Oh, what was it?
It's Transformers 4. The movie that decides to take an entire 5-minute scene to justify having an underage relationship instead of just aging her up 2 years. And also a scene where Mark Wahlberg just crashes a spaceship from outer space into a highway, and the first
I know what scene you're
thought
talking
a
about.
random pedestrian has is, you better have insurance on that!
And then Mark Wahlberg, as the camera gingerly pans across like a sea of Bud Lights, picks one up, cracks it open over the car door of this random pedestrian, drinks it, and pours the rest of it in the car. It's amazing.
I know it was one of
He
the
has
Mark...
insurance?
I know it was one of the Mark Wahlberg Transformers, but like one of the movies had a random My Little Pony.
That is the
like,
same movie.
That was during the
Oh
whole, we're
my
gonna show
God.
this transforming material.
So
Here's
it turns from My Little Pony into an AK-47, and the guy holding it loses his fucking mind.
God.
Of course, because when you're in a Transformers movie by Michael Bay, just throw all sense of this is going to be good out the window and just collect your goddamn paycheck. That's what that movie is.
And what I mentioned earlier, how like the thing with Michael Bay and directing is like female actresses and all that sort of stuff. It was the sixth one, I think, the one that involves like the Knights in England and all that stuff. Where
That's the fifth one. There
Or the fifth
have only
one.
been 5 Michael Bay Transformers movies, and
Okay,
I guess
good.
Bumblebee, which was good.
like in the fifth one, all the trailers emphasize like girl power and all this sort of stuff, which I think is really funny because like the teenage girl character that was in all the trailers for the fifth Transformers movie has maybe like 4 minutes of screen time and does absolutely nothing.
Oh, you just reminded me of one trailer where it opens up as like, you know, those whatchamacallit, one of those Skechers shoe commercials. No, one of those Nerf Rebels commercials where it's like the girl brand of Nerf, where it's like, what, you say I fight like a girl? Yeah, I fight like a girl, and like that was one of the actual cinematic trailers.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah, that's Michael Bay for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I love just the over the top shallowness of Michael Bay, where just every character is just the worst possible type of person they could be, and the movie revels in it.
Like
it's
Optimus Prime will just fucking rip off a man's face, and then it'll be portrayed as like completely heroic, even though he's a fucking psychopath.
This is the same series that made Bumblebee piss on a guy, so like,
in the 1st
I'm not gonna go into further context
movie,
on that.
It's like,
Yeah.
That's definitely a good Mystery Science Theater.
What was the
movie.
actor? John Turturro. John Turturro. That was the guy. Yeah, Bumblebee pissed on.
That's a good movie that we could Mystery Science Theater the hell out of. Fishbowl, you're up next.
Okay, so it was this really old movie. I'd probably say like around 70s type of bad movie, and I think they even did an MS3TK type deal on it. But have y'all ever heard of Samurai Cop?
No.
No.
It sounds
Like,
so
let me.
cheesy.
I remember
Yes,
it.
but I've
It was
never
this
seen it.
fucking. Hold on. Let me show. Let me send a pic. Let me send a poster of it.
Oh God.
On.
God.
Yeah.
That
Wow.
is
So-
Wow.
that is a 70s bad movie right there. Like
Oh,
the
yeah, it's
handlebar
it's
mustache,
so-
the plot,
The
like
hair.
Let me tell, and I remember the premise of this movie was, I think it was like some fucking white guy who apparently learned Japanese, so the police department just called him Samurai because he learned Japanese, and it was like him taking on like, I guess,
God.
a Japanese mob family. But it's not the thing that gets me. The thing that gets me is like, everything, it's like one of the only movies I have seen that is holistically bad, and there are two scenes specifically that I have memorized the entire like line delivery of these scenes because they're so bad. It was the head of the Japanese
Isn't-
mob, the Japanese guy with the mustache on the poster. He's ranting to his henchmen, and he's near a piano. And I want his head. I want his head so I can place it on a piano. And then like his head henchman, this giant buff guy, walks up to him. No, like just straight face as it can be, and he's like, "I'll give you his head, and I will let you place it on this piano."
oh God.
And there was another scene where they are black sidekick. The bad guys find the black sidekick as he's out of the shower, and they're like interrogating him as to where this fucking samurai cop is, and they say, "Yeah, and if you don't tell us where he is, we'll have to take away your gift, or big beautiful black gift."
Oh, what?
Oh.
What?
Yes,
Oh.
yes.
Oh my god.
Oh
bad.
my God.
Jesus.
It is
Christ.
such a terrible movie, but it's fucking insane and bad.
It's hilariously bad. Like, you know it's awful.
Oh yeah, it's
Like,
fucking terrible.
the epitome of this question is like right there. And
It is so bad. And I remember the samurai. I can't believe I'm calling him that, but like I can't remember this man's name. I just remember all the bad moments.
well, call him
like,
by his actor
awkwardly-
name,
like,
Matt
awkwardly-
Hannon, which that's a hilarious name in and of itself. It's almost hand cannon, which is hilarious for a
Matt-
cop movie.
Yeah, I'm calling Matt Hannon. Anyway, he's flirting with some nurse, and it's like the worst kind of. I can't remember what it says. And like every other shot is cutting back to his black sidekick, like either winking or like raising his eyebrows, like oh my, like that exact thing. It feels so awkward.
Okay, well, you are not going to believe what I have discovered by looking into this movie. First off,
Yeah.
it was released in 1991.
What the fuck?
Yup.
It
Another.
looks like a 70s movie. It had the score of a 70s movie.
Oh
That's
my
the low
God.
budget for
Wait,
ya.
it has like the same basic. It has like the same basic plot as Showdown in Little Tokyo, which is so funny to me.
But in a
Which was
bad
also
way.
released in 1991.
Second,
Which was also released in what?
Second, I'm trying to get this box art that I found. That is it box art? Oh yeah, it's the DVD cover, so they're allowed to kind of get away with more shit. But
Yeah.
this is the DVD cover for this movie. For this movie called Samurai Cop. I'm sorry that it's so small. I literally ripped it off of Wikipedia.
Oh my god.
That is a
Oh
killer movie.
my
that-
Oh
God.
my
And
god.
third off, did you know that there's a sequel?
No.
I was
Get
waiting
out.
for someone to
Get
bring that up.
out.
There's
I
a
was
sequel
just-
Get out.
called Samurai Cop 2 Deadly Vengeance, also titled Revenge of the Samurai Cop, which came out,
Yes.
I shit you not, October 9th, 2015. This movie
Yes.
isn't even
Shut the
6
fuck
years
up.
old. Nope, it is real. It is real.
Oh my god. Let me
Wow.
look it up. Let me look it up.
Watch this. I don't care about the new movie. I don't care about the original. I need to watch this sequel.
Tommy Wiseau's in the sequel, by the way.
Wait.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Yes.
We're just
Yes.
uncovering crazier and crazier details
Yes.
by the
This
minute
is-
here.
Yeah.
Wait.
We were talking about
Wait, I
like
have a
Mr.
theory.
Science
Wait,
Theater
what?
film to
Hold on.
watch. This is
Oh
Mr.
my god.
Science Theater film.
The tagline
Wait,
on the
Brian,
poster.
Brian,
They
what?
thought he was
Wha-
dead.
Hold on, what's up?
He
Hold
was
on.
just
Cool enough.
Oh my god.
cool
Brian,
enough.
What's
what
up, Marz?
day was it?
What day was it released?
What day was it released in 1991?
Oh, in 1991, Samurai Cop was released. I can't find anything.
Oh, it doesn't
specific.
have a specific date on the Wikipedia.
Not on Wikipedia. Hold on. It's sometime in November of 1991.
That's so funny. Okay, listen. So this was when he gave me that little synopsis of the white dude that speaks Japanese, so they call him samurai, and he has to like go
Oh,
against the
no.
yakuza. I was like, that sounds a lot like Showdown in Little Tokyo, which was released like 3 months before that in 1991, and is about a white dude, Dolph Lundgren, who speaks Japanese and has to fight the yakuza with his sidekick to save a girl. So like, interesting behavior.
Right. Well, and here's the kicker. When it came to well, we already had a few kickers, but here's another kicker for you. With Samurai Cop, it released. It was never given a proper theatrical release, but the Polish distributor released it on VHS in Europe. And it was first released on DVD in 2004, 13 years after it first came out, and then it was and then on Blu-ray in 2014. So if at this rate, I'm half expecting a Samurai Cop 4K 3D release in like 2 or 3 years here.
Oh my
You don't
god.
you don't know the deals with dark powers I would make to ensure that happens.
Like,
This movie must be apparently really successful to be able to keep getting these re-releases and a sequel.
Don't know how. It's so bad, but also like so mind blow, like so enamored, so like it's like
oh, get
it's like
this!
a car
Get
crash,
this!
you know?
Samurai Cop 2 Deadly Vengeance has a bunch of the original cast coming back, like Mark Hannon, whose real name is Matthew Karedas, which that's a fantastic name, I must say.
It's cooler than Matt Hannon. Why go by an alias?
I don't know. I'll look into him in a second here, but like, the thing is that everybody thought he was dead. By the time they released the Samurai Cop DVD, everybody thought he was dead. And then he just shows up out of nowhere in this sequel with the tagline, as Fishbowl pointed out, they thought he was dead, he was just cooling off. They marketed off the fact that they thought he was actually dead.
That is amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
I love this.
Marz is 57, is an American actor. And apparently was active from 1988 to 1996, and then took a almost 20-year break and came back for Samurai Cop 2. And apparently,
Wow.
yeah, so like he was in, I shit you not, he was in 3 movies and 1 episode of the TV show Jag. His role was, and I quote, Serbian soldier.
Wow.
Gosh.
This is a rabbit. This is why I love doing this shit, because you find out all this crap, and it's just like, what? And then you
What
go
a
even
legacy.
deeper, and then you find out he has a wife and 2 daughters.
But
God
he
bless.
lived a life.
I love learning about these like crazy stories behind these really wacky movies.
Hell yeah, hell
Like-
yeah. It's what part of making them bad. Of them being bad makes them so good.
It's like part of the legend of bad movies.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck actually happened? All right,
It's like
Marz
how
is-
in the
So
yeah, Marz.
go ahead real quick.
Oh no, it's like how it's the same feeling as discovering that Tommy Wiseau wanted Johnny in the room to be a time traveling vampire. Like it's that kind of it's like that kind
And
of
the fact that Tommy Wiseau is in the sequel to Samurai Cop.
I wonder if they left that out of the, gosh, I keep forgetting the name of the movie with,
James
gosh.
Franco.
James Franco, yeah. I watched that movie last year, but I can't even remember for the life of me if they referenced that in that movie. Tommy Wiseau wanting a vampire in the room.
I don't know, but what an eccentric taste. Marz, what is your favorite bad movie?
Okay. Listen. Hear me out. Just a little. Vin Diesel plays precisely one type of character and nothing else, and I appreciate that commitment. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. That I know Chronicles of Riddick is garbage. However, it's my guilty pleasure.
Yeah, I've only heard good things about Chronicles of Riddick, honestly.
The first movie is good, and the last of the trilogy is okay. Chronicles of Riddick is admittedly like not good. Like it's just not good. But I don't care. Vin Diesel plays himself in it, and that's all I need.
Vin Diesel doing Vin Diesel things. How can you go wrong?
Yeah. Probably the more shameful one is also that I like Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, but that's fine.
Hey, I like the tie-in video game, so that's all good. At least I'm 90% sure there's a tie-in video game, or was it that my brother played Need for Speed Most Wanted, and that movie was out around that time, and I literally have them fused in my head. I don't know.
I would be horrified. I hope they didn't make a video game for it.
Well,
What
it would have released at that perfect time.
What I love about these Fast and the Furious movies is how, like, whenever I hear people talk about them online, it's like, yeah, they're not really good movies, but they're so goddamn ridiculous that it's hard to hate them.
And they're leaning into it now.
They're
I
becoming more aware.
I didn't watch the latest one, but I hear they go into fucking space in that.
I wouldn't even be surprised.
Oh my god.
In the trailer, they had a scene in the trailer where they were literally like Spider-Man swinging across cliff faces with a car.
Yeah.
Literally Spider Car or the Spider-Mobile. And I'm like,
Oh my god.
oh my god. And in theory, I would have had to sit through Fast and the Furious 9 to get the Jurassic World Dominion preview? No thanks. No thanks. There's only so much ridiculous I can take if I'm just gonna wait for an 8-minute preview for the movie I actually give a shit about.
No. You don't understand. It's like the appeal of like Michael Bay explosions. Like you just watch the movie and then you tone out. You like just tune out everything. And you just like put yourself in the driver's seat and you just go vroom.
That's
Like
what,
you just go vroom with Vin Diesel. That's it.
Go vroom
That's like
with Vin-
literally the appeal.
That's
Like Vin Diesel says family a few times, and then you're just like, and then you're just along for the ride from that.
I guess, yeah. It's the same
Really?
reason. It's the same reason why Mom actually enjoyed 2016 Suicide Squad, even though
Oh my god.
Meaning to watch that movie, honestly. It's on my checklist of movies to watch.
Save yourself. It's like there's a difference between good, fun, stupid shit and genuinely bad, stupid shit.
That's
And like,
Honestly,
I
the
wanna watch
difference can be perfectly explained with both Suicide Squad movies.
I only want to watch it purely for the completionist sake because, as Wraith knows, I am a hardcore Katana fan.
Yep. Like this is like she would or Honey would literally watch garbage just to see that Katana was in it. This is not an offense to you. It's just what you told
I think
me.
I would have been.
Yeah.
I would have enjoyed Suicide Squad a lot more, honestly, if the Joker weren't in it, because he was the one that was just so on the nose, like unbearable. It's
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah,
could
like
we not?
like
I'm
straight
quirky.
like straight up Katana and Deadshot were the best parts of that movie.
This is Katana. She's got my back. I wouldn't. I remember seeing. Wait, has everyone here seen the new Suicide Squad movie?
Yeah.
I
have.
I have seen
I
enough
haven't.
of culturally osmosis enough that I really don't care about spoilers.
Okay, so I remember in the fight between Rick Flag and Peacemaker before I think it was before Peacemaker I think killed Rick. You just someone edited in like Katana stabbing Peacemaker in the back, and Rick Flag over Peacemaker's dying body delivers that line, just like, yeah, this is Katana. She got my back. That you got killed by her sword traps the souls of its victim. I wish I saved it on my phone.
If they actually did that in the movie, I would have fucking lost my shit. It would have been I would have declared it like the best DC movie and nothing could ever beat it if they actually went through and did that.
That would have been great. But I do respect the pick for Chronicles of Riddick there, Marz. That's an interesting one.
We love guilty pleasure movies.
Hell yeah. Mono, your favorite bad movie.
Okay, so time for another movie with a lot of interesting story behind it. Has anyone here ever heard of the 1994 classic Tammy and the T-Rex?
No.
No, but I'm already interested by the title alone. As a
So I'm
dino
gonna give
nerd.
I'm gonna give some context here. It's a weird science fiction / horror / romantic comedy movie
Uh-oh.
that the original cut, this was in 1994, and it stars Denise Richards and Paul Walker, rest in peace. Paul Walker gets his brain taken out of him by evil scientists who abduct him, and they put his brain into a mechanical, like, animatronic dinosaur, and Tammy is his girlfriend, hence Tammy and the T-Rex, and it's such a wacky movie, but here's the really fun part. The original cut of the movie was way more gory and was going for like an R rating, but the studio was like, no, we kind of want something more profitable, so they recut it into like a romantic sci-fi comedy that was like PG-13, and forever later, like literally until 2019, the cut, like the original cut of the movie didn't exist. They somehow in 2019 restored the original R-rated version onto DVD, and I heavily recommend that everyone here watches the dead meat kill count on Tammy and the T-Rex. It is such a good, weird ass movie.
Here I'm posting the movie poster and a couple of shots from the movie so you can see, oh my Jesus, it is absolutely...
What? What am I looking at?
Well, at least we know it's an animatronic T-Rex, so I can forgive some of the inaccuracies I'm seeing in this absolute travesty.
It is weird as hell. Like,
You know,
I just want to know how someone comes up with an idea like this.
probably lots and lots of mind-altering substances. But here's the thing about, like, I was just looking into it, again, to find images of this just so that we can mock this stupid thing. But apparently it's on Shudder, which is like a Canadian exclusive horror. I think it's Canadian exclusive anyway. I know it like marketed
I get
itself.
ads for Shudder. I
It's
get
not.
ads. Yeah, I get ads
I
for
think
Shudder, and I'm in
I-
America.
Yeah.
I have Shudder, so no, it's not exclusive to Canada.
Okay, well, it was definitely, at one point it was marketed as exclusive to Canada, I recall, so glad to know that the marketing was wrong. But yeah, so it was on Shudder. So I looked at the ratings that popped up, 5.1 out of 10 on IMDb, 50% on Rotten Tomatoes, 4.2 out of 5 on Shudder.
Like,
Oh, fuck.
I'm
it
gonna
is such a bizarre...
I'm gonna guess that this is because Shudder has the 2019 cut.
Yeah.
Holy shit, this was almost a Christmas movie.
Really?
Oh my god!
Wait, what?
Initial release, December 21st, 1994.
Oh my
Move
god.
over, Die Hard. We have a better Christmas movie now.
Yep. George Pilgrim, Sean Wick. Oh my god.
And it's like, it's me learning about how, like, here's the thing, there are actors in this that I recognize and know. I know Denise Richards. I know Paul Walker. And when I watched the kill count video, one of the villains in the movie was in Napoleon Dynamite as a minor character, and the guy who played Pedro in Napoleon Dynamite has a cameo as a pizza delivery boy. It's like, the more I learn about this movie, the more insane I feel like I'm becoming, because it feels like this is a fever dream of a film.
It's like, what is this dark timeline bullshit that leaked into this timeline?
Literally. I was originally going to bring up Cool Cat Saves the Kids because it's such a funny
Oh.
movie to talk about and everyone loves to tear it to shreds. But then I was like, no, I need to like talk about Tammy and the T-Rex. This
Also,
movie,
don't want to get taken down by that cool cat director.
yeah, like that entire movie is incredibly funny to talk about, but I'm not gonna get Brian's channel struck by him.
What's Cool
that's-
Cat's originally Fat Cat?
No, like Cool Cat Saves the Kids in short is like this really bad like educational kids movie, and there's like this really sporadic man in a cat suit, and he's hanging around with kids and he's giving them like really poorly told life lessons. And a bunch of more popular like film YouTube reviewers talked about
I
the movie.
remember I Hate Everything and Your Movie Sucks. Those were the two ones I know of.
Yeah, they talked about the movie, and the director took it down for copyright strikes, even though it wasn't infringing copyright. He only took it down because he didn't like that people were posting negative reviews of the movie. And that's just like, that's the whole story there.
Tut, naughty, naughty. Okay. Okay. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. All of these movies are fantastic. But I want to preface this first bit by saying that I have a collection of a bunch of bad sci-fi movies. Like, this movie I'm talking about was the first one we saw out of this, and I was torn between this movie and Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, which is fucking real, by the way. I was tempted to talk about Santa
Before
Claus. I wanted to talk about Santa Claus Conquers the Martians because I watched it as a Christmas movie for fun, and oh god, is it ever bad? But
oh my
if
gosh,
but there
the
was
60s.
but there was one 60s sci-fi movie that I had to watch, that I watched for funsies, that was so bad that it trumps aliens abducting Santa Claus to save their children, and then Santa Claus ending up basically taking over Mars through Christmas spirit, and I wish I was making that up. Oh, also,
sounds like cinema.
all the Martians were wearing very obvious green face, like their makeup was coming off in certain scenes. It was bad. But let me tell you, Hercules Against the Moon Men, aka in Italian, by the way, anybody who is Italian in the artist, please be prepared to butcher my Italian. Maciste e la Regna di Samar, or Maciste and the Queen of Samar in Italian, is by far the most ridiculous movie I have ever seen. I watched it with my brother because I knew my brother would tear this to shreds, and he did not disappoint. The basic premise is that a bunch of moon men from the moon take over this place in ancient Greece and make a deal with an evil queen so she can be the most powerful woman in the world in exchange for their, for her being basically a puppet for these guys. And then this Hercules in English guy, I'm gonna keep calling him Machiste because that's his Italian name, and I'm gonna roll with that. He attempts to free them, and there's like children blood sacrifices and all kinds of messed up shit. The man is like, I don't know what it was about the movie, but constantly shiny. Like, they were dunking him in olive oil between takes. And I shit you not, you know what the name of the guy is who plays quote-unquote Hercules? Alan Steele, or Sergio Ciani, but he's best known as Alan Steele.
Huh.
What you have just described sounds like pure, unfiltered cinema.
It is.
It's pure form.
Like, here are two actual stills. Well, I'm gonna send a third one because here you should see the evil queen in a little more detail. But this, I kid you people not, are three actual stills from the movie.
All I'm learning from this discussion is that the 20th century was really unmatched when it came to like fun, wacky movie concepts.
Like obviously, like when people say we need to go back to the good old days of cinema, this is what they mean. When people were allowed to go absolutely apeshit.
Wait, this is the same guy who played the Hercules in all those MS3TK movies, isn't he?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. Because
I
Alan
looked it up. I looked up this movie, and one of the first Google images is like the MS3TK poster for it.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
So, yep, that's Hercules against the... Oh, do you want to see the Moon Men, by the way? Do you want to see
I would love to.
Do you want to see what passes for fucking aliens in this fucking thing?
I would love to.
Rocks. Just rocks.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
Rocks.
God bless. No, this is incredible.
I'm getting like
Oh,
Power
this is
Rangers
great.
vibes from the second image.
Like
A Power Rangers villain.
like this is a French-Italian movie. I'm gonna very quickly look because this guy definitely did make those really shitty Hercules movies, but the Hercules movies that as Hercules movies were known as Machiste movies. I think I'm saying that right. Is Maciste. And yeah, he was in a bunch of them. Originally a hero of silent Italian cinema. Yeah, it is. Yeah, MST3K was also shown on Mystery Science Theater 3000. Making it infamous for the sandstorm sequence in that movie that was very, very ouch. Very ouch.
Wait, is the sandstorm sequence a fun bad or is it a weird bad?
It's called the deep hurting sequence. That should be context enough.
Ugh.
Oh.
Yeah, and the dub is just hilariously bad. Like, this is the best bad movie I've ever seen, and I still have like at least 50 more to go through in my collection, and with like it's like, hold on, I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab the thing and read off some choice titles. Just discuss Santa Claus Conquers the Martians or something before I get back.
Like, I remember him bringing up the Santa Claus, the Santa Claus movie. Man, I really do miss when movie concepts were just really wacky like this, and they're like, yeah, let's put money into this.
Like, I don't know, things these days are either adaptations of cape shit or just, like, reboots. Like, I hate to sound like a cynical old man, but, like, I miss when things
I
were
get it.
stupid.
I do
I
too.
miss
I
when...
miss when risks would be taken. Like, who cares if it doesn't get like good reviews or like brings in a bunch of money immediately? Like, I prefer something to be its own thing and to get like a legacy out of it, even if the initial showing wasn't great, than just kind of put out something that's cookie cutter, you know?
Yeah.
Probably
Yeah, I get that.
whole desire is just that Hollywood has sunk itself into this thing that movies have to be the audiences demand budget on their films. Like we've seen what happens when the budget just isn't just enough that the special effects start to look off, and like the audiences throw the entire buffet at the screen as a result of that. Like they have to keep they've put themselves in this position where they can't afford to have bad looking movies anymore. But the cost, even even the fact that they're pinching money and like spending almost nothing for the CGI being produced in like Southeast Asia, they're still spending enough money that they have to base that money on a safe bet. There's no more 1980s where you can just spend Coke money on a movie from
yeah.
like that was produced in California's middle desert.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well,
So
I'm
what were you saying, Marz?
I'm back. I'm glad that there is some sort of discussion. I picked 5 titles out. I picked 6 titles. One of them is fake, but 5 of them are real. And I want you to try and spot the fake, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Iga, The Wild Women of Wongo, Killers from Space, White Pongo, where was it? The Omega Incident, and Colossus and the Amazon Queen.
I'm going to go with the killer women one.
These all sound real.
I'm gonna go
I'm gonna go with killer women one because out of all of these, that is the one that sounds the most normal.
I'm gonna go with Iga.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with White Pongo.
So we got White Pongo, Wild Women of Wongo, Iga. What's your guess, Mono?
Wait, what was the killer one again? The Killers from Space. No,
Yeah.
that's what I meant. That's what I
Okay,
meant.
Killers from Space. Gotcha.
That is the one that sounds the most normal.
I'm gonna go with the Killers from Space too.
The Omega Incident was the fake.
Huh.
All of
Oh,
those,
tragic.
all of those other ones, alongside other ones like Laser Mission, which apparently has Brandon Lee in it, Mesa of Lost Women,
Oh God.
and the Galaxy Invader. This is high quality cinema we got here, guys. Or hey, Teenagers from Outer Space is on here. That's actually kind of funny. Because I think that movie's actually available as an unlock and Destroy All Humans for the PS2. Oh, the last one, because this is my favorite. She Gods of Shark Reef.
So, are they
Wow.
like shark gods, or...
She
they
Gods
just-
of Shark Reef.
So are they female gods who just have pet sharks, or do they have, like, bad shark makeup on?
I genuinely don't know. I haven't seen it yet, but I think that might be something we'll have to watch.
I think goddesses that control sharks would make for a really good movie. I don't know about anyone else.
Well, genuinely, it sounds really cool, but this movie came out in 1958,
Honestly, you know-
stars Bill Cord, and is in something called the Sci-Fi Classics Anniversary Collection, where their marketing is
boy.
fucking Gamera. They slapped Gamera on the box because there is one Gamera movie in here, Gamera the Invincible, and that's it. Everything else is just, what the fuck? Oh, and before we move on to the next one, Maddie's answer for favorite bad movie is basically that video games aren't great, but their pick is Hitman Agent 47.
I haven't seen that.
Okay,
I have not seen it either.
Apparently it's okay, according to at least some reviews anyway, but, you know. Okay, so next thing where Fishbowl's going to start us off with this one. there's as many different ways to watch movies now as you could shake a stick at. You could find a movie on YouTube and buy it and watch it on your phone. You can go to Crave on your TV. You could obviously go to the theater. We'll see how that goes with current disease climates. But when there's a movie that you want to see, do you prefer going to the theater for it, or would you rather wait for it to come home, and why?
I prefer going to the theater because like I can't because I am I do have borderline Asperger's and also possibly ADHD. I still want to get that checked out, but like I can't really focus on something for too long because I'm really fidgety. And in a theater, like I guess the unspoken social rules kind of dictate that I can't mess around on my phone while watching the movie that's in front of me. So also I guess just the general sound is like a lot better in a movie theater where it's all this, booming and the score hits harder,
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
I'm going to actually jump in order just to say that Fishbowl gave the exact answer that I was about to just give.
Oh, okay. So, brilliant. That's 2 answers for theater. How about you, Marz?
I think I kind of like both. I mean, there's nothing quite like the cinema experience, with the loud surround sound and the low lighting, and but I only like to go to the theater if it's going to be like on an off day where there's not many people. Having a bunch of people talking or being on their phone or kids screaming, that just like ruins the experience of the theater. It ruins the point. But also, I get really distracted. I'm the kind of person who I have to make like a movie an all day thing if I'm at home because I get super distracted. So every 15 minutes, I'm going to stop and go take 5 to 10 minutes to do something else or think about what I just watched. So
Yeah,
I do
depending
like
on the
watching at
quality.
home so I can do that freely without without it being an issue. At the theater, if it's like especially nowadays where some movies are 3+ hours long, it's like, oh, I'm shaking in my seat.
We talked about that actually in the last episode. That was one of our first talking points was, did we feel that movies were getting too long? And Mono, Maddie, and I unanimously agreed, fuck yes, they are.
They need to have intermissions in theaters again.
Bring them
That's gotta
back!
be a thing.
Because they used to. Like Lawrence of Arabia and Cleopatra and Ben-Hur, these were 3.5, 4.5 hour movies that had actual intermissions in the middle.
My local theater, when Endgame came out and it was being marketed as like a 3.5 hour long movie, as like they actually just they cut it in half and made it an intermission, and it was everyone rejoiced over it was a packed theater and everyone was enjoying it. And like it's a benefits everyone, honestly. Like movie theaters benefit greatly from intermissions because they get all of their sales from snack food, and people are more likely to go buy snack food when the movie is not playing.
Also,
Okay, but imagine
double dipping on the snack food thing.
Yeah. Also, imagine
Also,
with your intermissions point. Imagine like the intermissions from the Snyder Cut of Justice League. Like, you could have squeezed in a lot of snack bar money off of that, man.
Hell yeah, you could.
Yeah.
Even though I argue the Justice League should have been. Sorry, go ahead, Mono. Or Marz.
Oh, I'll let Marz goes first.
I meant Marz. Sorry.
yeah, I was gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. A lot of newer, like, I don't want to say specifically MCU movies, but a lot of newer action movies, especially MCU movies, are not necessarily masterpieces of cinema when it comes to writing.
Yeah.
So it's not
what-
like they
what is
can't
that
afford to
not?
break up the imaginary pacing of their incredibly written movies for intermission. Nobody's gonna cry and be like, "No, I was on the edge of my seat with this storytelling and acting. No, you're gonna break the pacing." Like it would be fine. It would literally be fine. It's just gonna be breaking up 3 hours of fight scenes and CGI.
And quips. Can't forget the quips.
That, and maybe
We can't forget the clip.
I don't want to hold in pee for over like an hour
Yeah.
Because like all these movies are getting longer and longer. I haven't actually been in a theater since like 2019, but like intermissions would also be great for people who need to use the restroom and don't want to miss out on things. Also, I have social anxiety, so I don't want to have to cross through a bunch of people to get to the stairwell to get out of the theater. Because like I don't want to be that guy that blocks people's views twice in like the span of a couple minutes just so I can get out of my seat and back into my seat. Like,
Yeah.
that's like the thing with like the social standards when it comes to movie theaters. Like, not only can I not fidget, but also I don't want to be that guy that accidentally pisses off other people trying to watch the movie. So I'm just like, you know what? I'll just sit and suffer. The second those credits roll, I'm out of here.
Run. Screw the post-credit scene. I'm out of here.
Yes, I will interrupt briefly to say, speaking of Bono not having gone to the movie theater since 2019, I'm going to go see Halloween Kills in October. It's going to be the first time I've set foot in a theater in like 3+ years. Thank you, COVID.
The one case I think should have movies being longer is honestly children's animation movies. Because I'm one of the rare few people who will go to the movie theater to see a kids movie on the big screen. Like, you're talking to the girl who went to see The Good Dinosaur on the big screen.
Oh, jeez.
I'm so sorry for you.
I loved it.
I can't
Oh,
remember.
never mind then.
I do have to disagree. I do have to disagree, unfortunately. I think as an adult watching a children's animated movie, like, yeah, I would love for them to be a little longer if they wanted to be, but they aren't geared towards adults. They are specifically children's movies, so adults taking their children to see them having to suffer through a 3-hour-long children's movie with a small child, nah. Nah. No.
We always have like these leftover subplots that are never fully resolved because of they're condensed to like 100 just 100 minutes or even less than 100 minutes, and it's like I want to watch it like these things are usually like 80-minute long films a lot of the time, but they have these subplots that just never get fully resolved because of the length of the film because they're made for little kids.
My only
Honestly,
concern
I
with
will
longer...
say-
Oops, sorry.
I'll add that, like, Spider-Verse, love that movie, 10 out of 10 movie. I feel like a longer runtime would have benefited it because it could have given, like, more characters, like, a lot more characters to, like, I guess, I don't know, it'll, like, because it could have given a lot of characters, like, more to do, like, the 3 other Spider people.
Oh yeah, no, Spider-Verse got like 30 extra minutes on the runtime, so we could actually understand why it matters that the spider robot got killed, and it's sad because it just comes with such a random death that we're like, oh, we're suddenly really sad about this. Why?
Like, my only concern with longer animated movies is making sure that the actual animators are treated well and get their due, because I know that there's like a lot of issues with like animators in films getting crunched and not getting paid enough, or sometimes like in Sausage Party not even getting credited. Like, if we're gonna have longer run times for animated movies, which another concern I have is that kids don't have the biggest attention spans, so like I would not have an animated movie go over an hour and 40 minutes, like, before credits roll.
That is absolutely true. If TikTok's influence on music is any indication, children's movies are just going to get shorter and shorter.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I feel like
Well,
there's...
I will say that TikTok recently added an option to make 3-minute videos.
Nice.
I'm just saying, like, with how music itself has developed in response to TikTok as a medium, we've had more and more songs that are only a minute and a half long that have actually, like, got on the top charts as a result.
Yeah, I don't think it'll affect movies as heavily, though, because I know for something to count as a movie, like a literal theatrical movie, you do need to hit, like, a specific runtime.
Which has gotten bigger over time, because The Land Before Time was a theatrical release, and it was 69 minutes long, so...
Yeah, like, I believe you need to have at least 80 minutes for it to be considered, like, something fit for a theatrical movie. I think, because, like, usually a lot of...
Time was kick-ass, by the way.
What's that?
I said Land Before Time was a kick-ass movie, by the way.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I loved it as a kid.
absolutely.
Honestly, disagree on that. Land Before Time kind of put me to sleep.
Wait, the first one?
Yeah.
Wow, I don't want to hear your
No.
reviews of
Oh,
of
how
movies,
could you?
of movies 2 through 14 then.
I forgot that there was 14 of those movies. Oh
and
my
the TV
gosh.
show that lasted 1 season.
My gosh.
Anyway, Mono, did you give an answer if you prefer theaters or home experiences?
I think both of them have their props. Theaters, I'm pretty sure someone already mentioned, like, they're way more memorable. Like, I can remember a movie-going experience way better than watching a movie at home.
Yeah.
But this year, leeching off of my dad's HBO Max, I was able to have some really good and memorable, like, family viewing movie moments where I got to watch the Mortal Kombat movie. Even if I didn't fully enjoy it, I was still like, hey, I love getting to wrap up in a blanket, microwave some popcorn, and watch this movie at home. And then I watched The Suicide Squad over the summer with my mom and brother, and that was a really fun night. So I'm fine either way. I do want to go into a theater again once it's safer to.
Yeah,
Like, I miss it. I miss that experience.
totally.
As somebody who spent the last weekend binging a bunch of different movies with her girlfriend, it's not the same just watching them in like a small basement downstairs, watching like them with a couple dogs, as opposed to in a pitch black room with a big screen that you can't actually like move out of and stuff. Like it is a very different experience. Like they're both great experiences, but like the theater
I
is a
agree.
very experience.
Gotcha.
I
Totally.
agree entirely.
For me, it's like 70-30 home movies because I don't like watching movies very much, which is why this is a bit of a weird... It's weird that we're doing a double up on movies, at least for me. It's just that I don't do movies very well. Unless I got subtitles, then usually I'm okay. But you can't exactly ask the person up in the movie booth to throw in the subtitles for a movie theater thing. So that's why that happens. But there were a couple of memorable movie theater things that make me go, yeah, movie theaters have their merit. Like I saw Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom in the theater with my mom, and and then I watched. It's fun. This is even worse. I saw Green Lantern 2011 in the movie theater when it came out,
Oh god.
and I actually kind of liked it,
Same.
but like only
I need to
because
see it again.
only-
I
'cause,
will
like,
say,
it
I think. Oh, you go. Sorry.
I need to see Green Lantern 2011 again to like really, I guess, gauge its quality since I haven't seen it in years.
haven't seen it in so long.
Me neither, but because I saw it in theaters, I remember it wasn't great. But part of the reason why I remember it was because I went with my brother's at the time girlfriend, but my brother wasn't there. So that was a little bit suspicious, but yeah. But you know.
I will say, movie theaters. I think the theater experience does have a way of making movies seem better than what they actually are,
Yeah.
or what you would normally think they were if you were just watching at home alone.
Oh yeah, like absolutely. Like I don't think I would have enjoyed Green Lantern nearly as much if I watched it on Netflix or something the first time.
Yeah.
Okay, Marz actually gets first dibs on this question here. Movies love franchises. We know this all the time. We have Harry Potter, we have Mortal Kombat, we have the Frankenstein things, we have the Universal Creature movies that haven't really gotten a lot of love recently, but, you know, were classics for their day. So, Marz, start us off with this question regarding a franchise you want to see movies for, or if you want to see this franchise have better movies, if you would prefer that answer. Or that question.
Has anybody here seen Twin Peaks?
I've heard
It's
of it.
on my list. It's on my list.
Okay. I would just like to say that Twin Peaks is fucking incredible. I haven't finished it yet. I'm pretty far into season 2. Twin Peaks does already have, I think, 2 movies. maybe just one, that are apparently really good too. But they just did a 20 years later season 3 of the show. And if I could squeeze one more movie out of David Lynch for Twin Peaks, I could die a happy woman. Twin Peaks is incredible.
All right, that's a pretty good answer. Just as a very quick synopsis for those of us not in the know, what is Twin Peaks?
Okay. Twin
dear.
Peaks, they're very bare. Yeah, the very bare bones synopsis is that in a small town called Twin Peaks, a young woman is brutally murdered. Her name is Laura Palmer, and an FBI agent named Dale Cooper comes to help the local police department investigate her murder, as they believe it's connected to a serial killer he's had a run-in with. That's the very bare bones thriller crime story that it is. Except it's nothing fucking like that whatsoever. The story kind of starts out it starts out weird from the beginning, but it's not so weird that you're like, wow, maybe something supernatural is going on. Maybe this eccentric FBI agent is just like, one of those geniuses that really can pull stuff out of his ass. But as it progresses, it shamelessly goes into David Lynch territory where there's absolutely something strange and supernatural, but it never veers away from the very real, easy to understand crime story. And I don't know, like, you have to be kind of familiar with David Lynch to understand the vibe that it's going for, without actually watching it, but it is truly just incredible, and every actor in that show puts on such a wild performance.
Very good. Very good.
I also hear that there's a short guy in a red room.
Yes, who speaks backwards. He speaks in reverse, and he
I
does.
only know of this because he showed up on an episode of Scooby-Doo one time.
They also made a reference to it in The Simpsons in the Who Shot Mr. Burns two-parter.
Ooh, the more you know.
Nice.
Okay, Mono.
The more you know.
Oh, actually, I forgot. I actually forgot to give Maddie's answer for the theaters question. Oops. Their answer was theaters, but we gotta address the uptick in directors saying their films were meant to be watched in cinemas during a pandemic, and this is in like all titles where it's like the first letter is always capitalized. Patty Jenkins should be quiet now. Yeah. Like, I totally would not be opposed to, movie directors getting their heads out of their asses and realizing that the home experience is important. Crazy people. Okay, Mono. A franchise you want to see in the movies for, or better movies for?
Okay, so I think it's funny that Green Lantern 2011 was mentioned earlier, because Green Lantern quite possibly is the number one superhero I want to see be done well in cinema. Because, I don't know, there's so much you could do with Green Lantern when it comes to movies. You could focus on so many different characters from the core. There's a lot of fun ideas you could explore. And it just upsets me that the 2011 movie didn't hit that well.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping with the DCEU, and I'm hoping with that upcoming HBO Max show, that there are going to be plans for the Green Lantern core going forward. I feel like I've discussed this before in like past episodes of the podcast about how much I want to see Green Lantern done well in live action. So that's the franchise I want to see the most have like movies made for, and also be good.
Yeah. Marz is gonna hop off here real quick. But she'll have answers for me to read alongside Maddie's, so that she won't get left out. I'm gonna answer Maddie's first, actually, on that topic, just to make sure I don't forget again. The Skullduggery Pleasant novel series should be just as, if not more, successful than Harry Potter, and should be in the Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Ghibli movie circles of famous fantasy movies. Also, if video game movies weren't cursed to be bad mid, Halo movies would slam. So, I don't know Skullduggery Pleasant, but I would agree that a cinematic Halo movie would be incredible.
I would love to see more video game movies. I think Halo, not a series I have a lot of experience with, like personally.
Yeah.
But I would be so down for watching Halo movies.
Yeah, if they were good. That's
If they were good.
That's
If they were good.
important
Like,
preface.
if we got Maddie's dream movies for Halo, I would absolutely be down to watch them.
Yes. And, you know, maybe if the Mortal Kombat movies weren't doomed to be weirdly terrible, that would... Because I haven't seen Battle of the Realms yet, but apparently True Underdog hates Battle of the Realms.
I've only heard, without going too deep in the spoilers, that the plot is kind of disjointed and messy, which I kind of got that idea from the trailer alone, because it seemed to be adapting a lot of different storylines, and I was like, oh, this isn't going to go well for like an hour and 20 minutes.
It's pulling a Spider-Man 3, and that's not good.
Yeah.
For my answer in regards to the franchise I would want to see movies or better movies for, I actually have two separate answers. First, I want to see a trilogy of Birds of Prey movies. More specifically, old school Birds of Prey, you know, with Babs and Helena and Dinah and Zinda. Zinda? Yeah,
I'd be down for more Black Canary and anything, honest to God.
Yeah, I would love to see, because even though Titans is doing kind of weird stuff with Oracle or with Babs as a character, it's not so weird that I'm like freaking out about it like what they did with certain things in Titans. So, and I actually do kind of like the actress here, so I actually wouldn't mind if Savannah Welch did do Oracle for something live, theatrical like that too. That would be sweet. And I just got Marz's answer for the next series of questions too, so that's awesome. So that's, if I could have one that would happen, I would love like a proper Birds of Prey movie. I guess it answers both questions, because the Birds of Prey movie we did get was full disclosure, I gave it a 9 out of 10 when I first saw it, but I have Wicked, but it's very clear that, like, you know, the more I rewatch it, I'm like, yeah, I should probably redo that review.
Like, I think the movie has its good things about it.
Yeah.
It's just that it's a weird movie to think about.
Yeah.
The movie's it's not really a Birds of Prey movie. It's more like DC trying to do damage control with Harley Quinn's character by giving her own solo focus. That said, I am excited to see what they do with some of these characters going forward, especially Black Canary.
Yeah,
if you've seen me on Twitter, I've been constantly like gushing over the idea of a Green Arrow and Black Canary movie. I'm excited for the Black Canary series. I'm hoping that's really good.
Oh yeah.
There's just there is some blessings in disguise with this movie.
Absolutely.
I feel
I wouldn't like make it like a I wouldn't say the movie is bad. I would definitely drop it from a 9 to like a 6 though.
Yeah, I think that's a fair rating.
Yeah, but that's what I would do. I would do a Birds of Prey trilogy of movies, so that and have Babs do cool shit in them, because you don't really have the Birds of Prey without Oracle Babs, and I'm very upsetty that she keeps getting shafted, except for weirdly in Titans again. And even then, I have like no desire to watch Titans outside of the little clips of Babs just showing up. And again, Savannah Welch, if they offer you more Oracle gigs, please, for the love of God, take them. Okay, Honey, you're up.
So I have both a I have a double answer too, like you did. First one is I would like better movies made for the Pirates franchise.
Like Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yes, the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. The 5 films, which I personally liked all 5 at different scales, but they're all like above a 4 in my opinion.
Yeah.
Maybe 5 is on the 4 ranking, but like they're all relatively decent, and for my opinion. But I recognize that a lot of people didn't like the last two movies, and apparently the Universal also, or whoever is in charge of those movies, I forget, Warner Brothers or something.
Which is
But
Pirates of the Caribbean is a Disney thing.
it's Disney's right, yeah. But yeah, Disney apparently agrees, so they stopped making those movies. But the Pirates franchise is amazing. Like the world building, the development. Everyone was hanging up over Jack Sparrow. They don't need to make the movies be about Jack Sparrow. Jack Sparrow is a great character, and he absolutely can just lead a film if they stop trying to give him character arcs and instead of just treat him like an actual swashbuckling protagonist where he's just supposed to be there and kick ass and have fun. But they could literally just remove Jack Sparrow, and the rest of this world is so developed with so many moving parts and characters. You can just continue to just do the Fast and the Furious and make a billion movies off of this franchise. It's just like I don't know. It's a like there like you have the Spanish versus the English with this whole situation with morality cutting into the whole thing. You have the whole underworld situation and magic and all that kind of stuff. There's like a billion different ideas circling around characters from every angle. You could do stories about the Chinese pirates or the Indian pirates and all that. Like, there's a lot of different angles to go with this franchise that just has not been explored.
Which is weird, because, like, when they stopped doing it, they ended up putting out a fucking Jungle Cruise movie.
Exactly. But my other answer that is actually a franchise I would like to see made is for League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which is my literal favorite movie ever made. Huh?
I feel like I've heard of this. I need to see.
Yeah. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen was a comic book adaptation movie based on Alan Moore's comic of the same name. But the movie was made at the exact same time Alan Moore was actually writing the book, because the production studio had just finished making V for Vendetta, and they heard in conversation with Alan that he was making this, and so they just bought up the rights to the movie before he was even done with the first issue. And so there are a few plot differences that happen. So it's a very 2003 versus Full Metal Alchemist situation for audiences paying attention there, where characters have different arcs that they go on because the writer's room wasn't paying attention to what the actual writer was doing. And in my opinion, the movie is like leagues better than the actual book. And the fact is, the matter is, for those who don't know about the movie is a team ensemble book that predates Avengers and Justice League, and yet does the team of superheroes coming together to fight an evil a billion times better than both of those movies did. And it is really, and it just, every character has their own little arc, their own little character motivations and gimmicks, and everyone brings something unique to the room. And by the end of the movie, it just sets it all up for the movie to just keep going for more and more sequels. The fact that we have two whole other books in the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen book series to expand off of, with the War of the Worlds happening for the second book, that you can easily just do alien invasion for the next movie and have that be the premise. Alien invasion during the middle of World War I. Like, how can you not just do that as a movie? But, like, there's so many things you can do with the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. You could just break the movie off into every one of its individual characters. A 10,000 Leagues Under the Sea movie with I'm really bad with names, but the actor who played Captain Nemo in that movie was so good. And to have like a flashback movie of that character dealing with what he did in the events of League of Extraordinary, 10,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and how that shaped who he is in LXG and all that. A movie about Mina Harper being a vampire in the Roaring Twenties, a movie about Jekyll and Hyde, or introducing other famous literary characters like Dr. Frankenstein and all that, or Sherlock Holmes. There's a lot of just fun characters to pull out of to expand the franchise and just make a continuous ongoing series.
Good times. Good times. That sounds like you could just mine that for days. Funny.
I'm just looking at some of these like posters and pictures, and I'm like, oh, this diesel punk aesthetic looks really cool. I'd like to see some of these sorts of aesthetics be explored in movies more often.
The diesel punk in the movie is fantastic, and you should absolutely watch the movie if you get a chance to. This is literally my favorite movie ever made, period.
Ooh,
It sounds really cool.
sounds fantastic. Adding
Mhm.
to the list. Okay, Fishbowl, what's your answer for the franchise query?
Been talking a lot during those other questions because I've been thinking about it, and I guess the franchise I would like to see more of, to see like a movie of, even though I know it will never happen, is Destiny. Not because of the stories of the games, but mostly because of like the lore. Because there's like so much shit you can make so many cool like different like mini series or movies out of. Like I think there was one lore book called The Last Days of Kraken Mare, I think it was, that detailed like a group of scientists like facing the destruction of a planet they're on, and that you could do a pretty survival horror story of. There's the Books of Sorrow, which is like this, I guess, the origin story of like eldritch death gods and the like. But the one I'd like to see most of is like, I guess, the story of two very important characters from the lore. Dredgen Yor, who's like sci-fi cowboy Darth Vader, is as best as I can describe it, and Shin Malphur. And I think you could do something really cool with like a sci-fi Western type deal, where I guess the first act of the movie, you go over like both of their origin stories about how Dredgen Yor used to be this big hero being corrupted by being corrupted by his own fears and dark magic. While you get Shin, who was like this little kid living in this like horrible town ruled over by a corrupted sheriff type deal, until one day his mentor, a guardian, comes in and frees the town. Then you get to the act 2, where you kind of see where Shin's mentor is killed by Yor, and he goes off into this wild revenge scheme. As he inherits his own guardian abilities, he's learned how to do with them, and tracks them down, while as Dredgen Yor just continues hunting down more and more guardians, and you get to see more and more of his twisted psychology. And then you get to the final act, where it's like, the big confrontation between those two. I can't really describe it very well without, like, I guess, telling you to like read their story from beginning to end. But I think it would be like a very cool like movie to like, I don't know, at least see like this really cool sci-fi Western type stuff.
Yeah.
And there's like a lot of stuff in Destiny you could like make cool shit out of. Like Eris Morn, this one character, as she goes on this revenge quest to go kill an elder god. It goes terribly wrong, and in the rest of the movie is just her surviving in the depths of the moon without any powers or eyes, and she's learning to build herself back up and survive and escape. Or the Exo Stranger could be like a really cool like time travel movie where she's kind of continually going back into the past to prevent like the apocalypse and stuff like that. There's a lot of like I guess a lot of cool stuff you could do. And
It sounds really fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Both that and the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, I think those two picks are the epitome of untapped cinematic potential right there.
Definitely. Like, we need more like out there fun concepts like this.
It's
As
part
long-
of why it's part of why I was really looking forward to the Universal Monster franchise, because it's very much in the same aesthetic vein as the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen sort of genre or universe. Like, I really like the idea of just public domain characters being mashed together like action figures.
Yeah.
And the whole Universal Monster franchise, the idea of them reviving that thing, and like I was going to talk about it a little, but it's like it kind of just sort of petered out and died because no one actually seemed interested in the franchise that well.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
after The Mummy, which they did not know what they were doing with that movie, they like people don't care about the original Mummy. They like the Brendan Fraser Mummy. Do that one again.
Use that one as
Also-
your basis.
Yeah.
While we're talking about The Mummy from a few years ago, I will never ever forget about how they posted a trailer to that movie where they didn't have the music in it, so
Sound.
all you could hear was sound and voices and the clip where like the plane is crashing and you just have like these recycled stock screaming sound effects going on. It is so unironically funny. If I can, let me see if I can find it.
Okay, because that what? How did you forget the music for a fucking trailer?
Let me
That doesn't make any sense. I don't understand.
make sure it's the right one.
Ah! Okay, so while we're posting that,
Found it.
oh god, oh god, with missing, oh Jesus, oh god, that's
Yes.
that's something for later. Oh Jesus. Anyway, I don't remember if I answered it. Mono answered the franchise thing, so we're good to go. Question number 4. This one
Oh
was.
boy.
This one was. I didn't know how best to word this one. So I went with the most frustrating movie, but it's the movie that you. I don't want to say necessarily that you hated the most, but it's like the movie you finished or didn't finish, and when you did finally give it up, you just closed it and went, what the fuck did I just watch? In a bad way. Like, what was that insult to my time? You know?
I figured it was something along the lines of like, what movie have you watched where you were just kind of screaming in your head at the characters in the movie?
Yeah, that's also applicable, because that's part of why that would make you go, what the hell am I watching, you know? So that's perfectly valid too. It's just I didn't quite know how to word this one. Maddie didn't quite have an answer for this one, but I emphasized when I said frustrating, I meant so bad that they made you mad for one reason or another, quality, behind the scenes shenanigans, whichever. And they they had a couple movies that they never just quit, but they actually almost had Rise of Skywalker. Maddie's answer would have been Rise of Skywalker for that one.
Oh yeah.
And
absolutely.
Marz's answer was most Nicolas Cage movies. I don't know what it is about that man, but something about him just drives me, Marz, up the wall. Most of his movies make me, Marz, frustrated and uncomfortable, especially National Treasure. So, I mean, I know Nick Cage is kind of a mean
History
pick.
teacher that loved National Treasure. Like every excuse she had, she would sit us down and let us watch it in class.
Fantastic. But yeah, that's I get because Nicolas Cage is a very polarizing actor. You could be like me and think that he's just a hilarious meme actor. He's man, I almost want to see this Tim Burton Superman movie that cast Nicolas Cage as the titular Superman.
Fun fact, I found a subreddit called One True God, r/One True God, and it is entirely dedicated to Nicolas Cage.
Oh.
And then you have those people, and then you have the other people that are just can Nicolas Cage just stop? And Marz definitely feels in that category.
I'm in the category of Nicolas Cage always understands the assignment.
Yes.
What?
That
when
is
it comes,
literally
Wait,
what...
does anyone remember that Nicolas Cage movie he was in where it's basically just it's basically just Five Nights at Freddy's, but he fights the animatronics?
My brother-in-law and I watched that fucking movie.
was that the Banana Splits movie?
It
Or
was like
something
Weasel.
else?
It was like
No.
Wally Weasel's Wonderland or some shit like that.
The thing with Nick Cage that makes it really stand out is that he always plays the role exactly as the director tells him to play it. As opposed to a lot of actors where they will interpret the director's orders to play a character, and then they will try to play the character to their style. Nick Cage will literally take the exact order that the director gave him and do it to the letter. So There are no bad Nick Cage movies. Only bad directors directing a Nick Cage movie.
So we can blame the director. I love it when we get to blame the man.
Like, I'm not the biggest fan of Nick Cage, but I can appreciate that in all of his movies, he dials everything up to 11, which, like, it
I
could
want to
work
see
in
Mandy.
favor.
I want to see Mandy strictly because I heard it's absolutely bonkers.
I was actually, like, about last month, there was a point where I was watching a bunch of different clips and stuff from Midsommar, and I learned that there's a very similar movie from the 70s called The Wicker Man, and that it was remade in the 2000s.
Wicker Man.
Yeah,
That's
not the
where
bees.
meme.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
the
where
Wicker
the
Man is
bees
one of,
Bees.
yeah,
Wait,
the Wicker Man is one of Cage's most infamous movies.
Yeah, well,
Wait,
I love.
Has
I
anyone?
love-
Has everyone here seen that? Has everyone here seen the scene where Nick Cage, in a bear suit, just jauntily jogs up to this random woman and socks her and like punches her in the face?
I have
From that
not,
movie.
but that sounds like a complete vibe.
Yep, I've seen that
It is-
scene. Oh my god.
But okay, who's next?
Right, I would be, because I would technically start, but I had to read Maddie's and Marz. Ziz. What we're doing? Most frustrating movie. Okay. Alright. I think I'm generally not bothered necessarily by movies per se, but I think the most frustrating movie for me, just because it's like, how do you go so wrong with this idea, is Justice League Apocalypse War. Like, how do you, like, I want to know, I have this crazy conspiracy theory almost, that Justice League Apocalypse War was a test to see how well the studio that does the DC animated movies can do extreme gore, so that WB can get them to make Mortal Kombat movies. I almost feel like that's why that movie exists, both to reset the franchise and as like a Mortal Kombat pre-test. Because as much as DC can be pretty brutal and whatnot, the level of messed up that movie goes towards is like, why? Like, why would you go 3 or 4 steps too far and do things like literally bifurcate a superhero on screen multiple times?
Like, I purposely didn't watch that movie despite it being the literal grand finale for that specific series of DC movies, because I didn't want to have to sit through a bunch of my favorite heroes gruesomely getting killed. Like, I am not one to get...
You could have left it at Superman getting his symbol tattooed into his chest with kryptonite, and that's like the level you should
And like
shoot
have
for.
the other one, and like have every other superhero be like mind controlled, like Batman was.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I'm not like, I don't mind gore and stuff, because, like, I love watching shitty, like, 80s and 90s horror movies. I like watching...
And you're a Mortal
I love
Kombat
playing,
fan.
I'm a massive MK fan. I used to be really big into Fallout. I can handle gore. It's just when it's done to characters that I root for or characters that I feel like don't deserve it. Like, I'm not a fan of watching innocent people like die in anything. So like, take that, but make it all the superheroes I love and care about, and they're just getting fucking gored, and it's just like, I don't want to sit through this. This does not sound like a comfortable sitting experience.
Yeah, no. And like, and again, there's like I swear, I genuinely swear, there were moments in this movie, like when Damian Wayne gets Omega beamed by Darkseid, that is like, this is an like, in hindsight, partially
Isn't he,
thanks to
like,
watching
14?
Scorpion's Revenge. No, he got aged up so that he could take over as Batman. But like, but either way, it's like,
Wait, I thought the universe reset at the end of that movie.
it did, but Damian gets killed by Darkseid in that movie, and it's straight up, it's a Darkseid fatality. If Darkseid was in Mortal Kombat, and watching it again, it's like, holy shit. Also, never count out WB to have child murder, because remember, Scorpion's Revenge literally had Bihan murder
Yeah.
murder Satoshi in front of Hanzo. So
Thankfully, it's done in a way where it's not explicitly on screen. Like, you don't see the actual wound or, like, the impact of what's happening.
but you definitely
But
get
it's still shocking.
but you definitely get the idea as to what happened to Satoshi, and then you basically see what happens to Hanzo, which is implied to be what happens to Satoshi. Like,
Yeah.
like if it's a small mercy, at least they both died pretty well. Satoshi at least died pretty quickly. Like, it would have been instant death.
It's still, like, I think it's probably been discussed on this podcast before, but, like, how child death is almost always, like, a huge no-no, especially if it's something like this. So, like, I'm surprised that Warner Brothers included that into one of their
Yeah.
movies.
Oh yeah, like
This is a big reason why I was genuinely offended when I saw the first Jurassic World movie with the pterosaur or whatever it was just picking that woman up, and then multiple of them just
Oh, I remember that.
the Zara death is easily the most what the fuck death that made
Was
it
that
into
the babysitter?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
the
babysitter
yeah.
gets scooped up by the pteranodon, and then it's literally a food chain diagram for like a second as the mosasaur scoops up the pteranodon with Zara in its talons.
I shouldn't
It hasn't
laugh,
just
but,
been
like...
that with her arms like almost being ripped out of her in midair before finally being dropped, then just suddenly psych, we're gonna grab you, and then psych, double psych, no, the Mazodon comes in.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that scene from, like, the reason why I'm laughing despite this is, like, a really, like, kind of a fucked up scene, the Jurassic World one. I think of the scene from the SpongeBob movie where
Dennis.
the two of them are driving away from the monster that was disguised as, like, the
I
old lady
remember-
in the ice cream,
Yeah.
and it falls off the cliff, and then it gets eaten by one monster, and then
Yeah,
it gets
and then
eaten
it
by
gets
an
eaten by
even
another.
bigger monster, and, like, the two of them are just sitting there with, like, oh my god, those
Like,
facial
they're-
expressions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The facial
That was
expressions in the SpongeBob movie are godlike.
Mhm.
They really are.
But on the topic of because I'm a huge Jurassic fan in general, I like the Zara death is probably the most pointless death of the entire franchise, and that's even counting how the nanny in Fallen Kingdom almost died. I love that shot so much. But the nanny in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom was supposed to get killed by the Indoraptor. And but the reason why was that she literally like smacks the fuck out of the Indoraptor. Like she's beating this thing with a cane to try and keep Maisie alive. And then it cuts to the old lady getting, mauled. But like if it like even that death, which is like you're killing an old lady, guys.
At least she's going out like a badass.
Yeah,
She's
she's
I
going
feel
out
like that.
going out like a boss. Like Zara had no chance, and it's like that's just not fair.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
I'm
it's
fine
pure
with gore. I'm fine with gore. I like Invincible. I liked the new Suicide Squad movie, but like, there's a point where it just becomes mean-spirited, and I just don't vibe with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is completely mean-spirited, and you can tell, like, from the way the movie is, like, the way Zara's character is shown, that this was entirely mean-spirited on the creator's part. Like, she's this stereotype of the vapid, unintended millennial character who's just always on her phone, not paying attention. Like, this is a stock straw man character for the boomer director to just vent how much he hates young women nowadays.
Indeed.
Stupid. I can already, now that you mention it, I can rewatch the scene, and all I'll be able to hear is some old man going, "Stupid kids these days.
Yeah.
Thinking about dinosaurs they will teach you to stay off them TikToks." Or something like that,
Well, it was 2015, so it wouldn't even be Vine because Vine died before then. But still,
Twitter or Instagram.
yeah, there you go. But yeah,
It's basically the let me take a selfie of movie scenes.
so yeah, absolutely. Like I fully agree with you that's why, like, in my rankings for the Jurassic movies, it goes Jurassic Park, Lost World, Fallen Kingdom, Jurassic World, and then 3 or 4 rungs down is Jurassic Park 3. even though Jurassic Park 3 does have the handicap of it, like, it was so messily produced that one of the jokes by the cast and crew was that at the wrap party, one of the presents would be a complete script of the movie. There was going to be a scene where where Alan Grant is riding on a motorcycle, jumps off of the motorcycle near a cliff because he's baiting velociraptors. The raptor jumps onto the bike and, quote-unquote, rides the motorcycle to its death.
That sounds
that.
sounds like peak cinema.
Yeah, but that got cut alongside a shitload of things, like a baby Spino that the one random mercenary dude accidentally kills and thus pisses off the Spinosaur. Hints at more genetic modification. A scene where the Velociraptors were going to kill the Spinosaurus because Alan Grant basically goes full Beastmaster and summons them like a goddamn druid. Like,
That's amazing.
yeah, much better than what poor Zara had to go through. Jesus Christ. Although, I will say this about Jurassic World. Margarita Man is a vibe. If you don't know, there's a scene like when the pterosaurs are out and about on Main Street, this one guy just grabs 2 giant margaritas and like tries to run with the margaritas. I'm like, that's a fucking vibe.
He paid like $40 for each margarita.
Yeah. Okay, Fishbowl, what's your most frustrating movie?
That wasn't my movie.
Oh, what? I thought Jurassic
No.
World was. Oh.
I brought it up in passing, and then we all just dogpiled onto it.
I'm sorry. I genuinely thought that... Okay, that's my bad.
No, it's fine. It's just that. Yeah, I was about to say like, are they gonna skip me over because this feels like my movie, but it's not my movie.
I'm looking forward to hearing what your movie is then, because if Jurassic World's not your movie, then what is it?
Jurassic World doesn't count because it's only that one scene that genuinely offends me. No, what offends me from the beginning to the very end is Suicide Squad Hell to Pay.
That was a wild movie.
No.
My father saw that. My father watched that and told me he liked it, but I don't know a single thing about it. So I'm curious to see what this is about.
I know a lot of people who think it is an okay film, so let me preface that I am an animation major. This is literally what I've studied to do is animation.
Oh, God.
The level of shoddy craftsmanship in this film is, like, genuinely offended me as a creator. The constant repeating, like, the scenes where they're driving the truck, and we can literally see a 2-second repeating clip of the background cycling as they're driving with the same just static shot for 5 minutes.
Oh, no.
The movie is just atrocious in every capacity. It's not even like, oh, there's problematic. This is a movie that was just made with zero opinion on the quality of the film. Like, nobody seemed to give a shit about the quality of this movie being made.
Also, I just think most of the character designs kind of looked really bad and generic, except for, like, Copperhead.
And Reverse Flash just shows up with a fucking bullet hole in his head as he's explaining why Batman killed him. Like, was that even necessary?
Happens to randomly be just randomly at the end of the movie. Oh, we're apparently a sequel to Flashpoint for some reason.
Yeah, that's something that always confused me. And like the thing with that specific movie is that it doesn't really feel like a movie revolving around a team, because the only characters that really get any actual focus are Deadshot and Bronze Tiger. Mm-hmm. Harley is just there to sell the movie to people because we can't fucking have, like, I don't know. Harley didn't even need to be in the movie. Captain Boomerang is there to just be the asshole of the team like usual. And then Killer Frost is there to be the totally not a surprise at all twist villain or a twist antagonistic member of the team.
I get it. Also, as Wraith knows, I am the Charlton gal, and I love all the Charlton characters. This movie decided to fuck over just 2 random Charlton characters and write them completely out of character for literally no reason in the first 2 seconds of the film.
Oh, is it Punch and Julie?
Yes, Punch and Julie. the Joker and Harley Quinn, who genuinely love one another and are crazy, they are the epitome of the actual crazy in love character trope. And they decide to just, nope, they betray one another and try to stab each other in the back.
The Butch and Cassidy types, as it were.
Also,
Also, wasn't, like, Vandal Savage's daughter one of the better characters in that movie, and she's in it for, like, 5 minutes?
Yeah, the movie basically has, like, 3 separate villains going on at the same time, with Vandal Savage and Scandal Savage as his minion, and then the Suicide Squad, and they wrote I'm gonna suddenly betray you, father, in the most obviously contrived way of, oh, my girlfriend is injured. Savage, let her die. Okay, now I'm gonna betray you now for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing like, oh, this is an interesting choice on her part to betray the guy. Like, no, this is like, Betrayal 101 is happening here.
Not to mention that you've mentioned, it's definitely one of the most questionably animated of the DC animated movies, and I'm actually very curious, like, are there any that you think are worse, and what is the best animated of the DC AU movies, now that you brought it up, because I'm actually curious.
So I've only actually seen, in terms of the DC animated movies, I've only seen the Suicide Squad Hell to Play and Assault on Arkham.
Okay.
Yeah. I liked Assault on Arkham well enough. I thought it was a decent enough film. I never saw Armageddon, primarily because I just heard a billion people hate it and I didn't want to touch it after I saw Hell to Pay.
Armageddon, you mean Apocalypse War?
Yeah, Apocalypse, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't want to touch that after, like, alright, I already went through Hell to Pay. I'm not sitting through that all over again.
Yeah, that's all good. I would highly recommend you check out some of the DCAU movies, like Under the Red Hood immediately comes to mind. Superman Doomsday was the very first one. Superman versus the Elite.
I was considering watching the Death in the Family movie until I learned that they decided to cut the most important part of Death in the Family that every adaptation of this story cuts out of it. For, like, it is the most central point of the movie that especially considering they made this movie as a direct sequel to Under the Red Hood, it completely devalues this movie as existence because they cut out the part where Batman actually does try to kill the Joker.
Oh.
Yeah.
For the audience and some of you who have not actually read Death in the Family, at the end of the book, Batman tracks down the Joker and actually plans completely to kill him at any cost. And Superman has to stop him because of contrived political reasons, where the Joker becomes the political ambassador, the UN representative to Iran, because this book was written in the 80s and we are incredibly dated. But Superman has to stop Batman from killing the Joker and causing an international incident. And Batman is like, unhinged, I'm going to kill the man who murdered my son. As the fact that this entire scene exists in the comics, and the whole premise of the movie being a direct sequel to Under the Red Hood, where Under the Red Hood literally has the Jason Todd screaming about how Batman never tried to kill the Joker. It's like, no, you're missing the point. He did try.
Indeed. Oy.
He almost caused an international incident over it. He almost put us into war with Iran.
That's a dad move right there. Dad Wayne. We need more Dad Wayne.
We do.
Yeah.
We need more Dad Wayne. Which is also partial.
Like, the whole thing with Jason is supposed to be that Jason is wrong here, that he's blinded by his rage, that he doesn't understand the lengths that Batman actually would go to save him.
Yeah. Yeah. But Hell to Pay. Woo. I could totally get you on some of the animation aspects. Also, we didn't really need to see Dr. Fate be a stripper, I don't think.
Wait, what?
We also didn't
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, they have that. Dr. Fate is the new current Dr. Fate in that movie is a male stripper who just uses the Fate Tower as his bachelor pad.
I never thought I would see like male fan service and like a male stripper in a DC animated movie, but the Hell to Pay was like, here you go.
That's
Honestly, that part was pretty enjoyable for me. That was like the one saving grace that like, okay, I at least have this moment in this film.
yes. At least you have the ridiculousness of Dr. Fate being a male stripper with an Ankh tramp stamp.
Beautiful.
Poor Fishbowl just learning about this right here, right now.
Fishbowl is Patrick in this scenario.
There's also
What
just
the
the random. There's also the random scene of Professor Pig just doing his saw shtick, and then Scandal Savage just breaking in and just kidnapping Pig for like no reason, until we learn the reason they took Pig was to intentionally do bad surgery on Vandal Savage, because they wanted to create a dead man switch on him, so they needed a doctor who would actually perform surgery that would intentionally result in the person's death.
I mean, that's a clever way to go about that.
One last
I'd say so,
positive.
too.
Sorry. Oh wait, one last positive to say on Hell to Pay. I think Silver Banshee's design slapped, but otherwise the movie was just really eh.
Yeah. It's like movies where there's a lot of betrayal, like movies where you don't know who you can trust and everyone's like sort of stabbing one another in the back. You first need to care about the characters first before you watch them betray one another.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yes.
And it doesn't help when you have a whole, like, 10, 20-minute scene in the movie that is completely derailed because Deadshot decides to go rogue and go see his daughter for no reason except that Waller decided to goad him.
Nice one, Deadshot. All right. I think now is Fishbowl's turn.
Yes.
A movie that genuinely angers me. I like to consider myself a chill guy when it comes to like media. Like, I don't hate things. Either I'm into something or I'm just not, and when I'm not into something, I just don't really like talking about it all that much. It takes a lot. Like, it takes a lot for me to hate something, and my litmus test is like every time I bring it up, I have to fight back the urge to use multiple strings of profanity to describe it. There are only two fictional things that have ever come close to that for me, that have hit that for me. Goro Akechi from Persona 5, and motherfucking The Rise of Skywalker. God fucking.
Maddie would have loved this because, Maddie actually mentioned this flick.
I'm glad we're headed
I'm
back
sorry,
into
like-
this discussion because we talked a bit about Marz's answer, and I was like, oh wait, we didn't really talk much about Maddie's, so like, good that you brought this up.
Oh yeah, no, I hate this movie so much because like I don't even know where to start. Is like I'm one of the I don't like talking about The Last Jedi because everything that has been said in favor or against the movie has already been said, and there's no way I can add anything new. But like, there's some interesting stuff going on because I thought they were going to go like, oh, Kylo Ren's rejecting every single like offer to like become a better person and not be a fucking dick. So I was like, oh, maybe that would be a good idea. Nope, he gets the most rushed fucking redemption arc I have ever seen in all my years on this planet. And I only have 3 bullet points to make a good redemption arc. That is recognizing what the character recognizing what they did was fucked up, feeling general remorse for it, spending the rest of the runtime to making up for it, and then facing consequences for what they have done. And I can only name like, let's see, Zuko, Gray, like 3 or 4 characters that have hit all those points, and somehow, like everyone else, like at least hits some of them. at least one or two. Kylo Ren hits none of them at all. And it's so frustrating. He just has to talk with his ghost dad, chucks his laser sword in the middle of the ocean, and somehow gets a TIE fighter, even though to go to the final battle and fucking kiss his Rey. Oh my god, I haven't even talked about the fucking Reylo, because listen, I don't care about shipping.
I'd hope we get into this
I don't
discussion.
care about shipping. I don't care if it has a lot of canon interactions or not. I don't care about shipping at all. It's for fun. I don't care. But I will complain about actual canon relationships and how they're written. And if there's one trope I fucking hate when it comes to redemption arcs especially, it's that a relationship is what the villain really needed to become a better person. And I don't know, fucking self-reflection or anything.
Like, it feels
And
like this... I was gonna say... Like, it feels like a lot of these people who really like the Reylo thing are just like, what if I project my personality onto Rey?
Exactly.
And then make Rey fix this. Like, you don't understand. This fascist that's killed so many people and continues to do horrible things can be changed by a good woman. And I'm just like, y'all don't understand how people work.
I'm sorry, but
it's a good thing that this podcast is uncensored.
Because I am just going fucking off, and I haven't even mentioned everything else in the movie where it's just it has the most fucking nostalgia pandering bullshit in a movie I've seen since fucking Endgame, and Jesus Christ, and the plot has so many fucking holes in it, and I don't know how else to explain it, but every character who doesn't have the fucking Force has no character arc at all. They are just there, and it's a shame that it's mostly the not white characters. And oh my god, I don't even fucking think about this, but they gave the Hispanic character, they gave my boy Oscar Isaac a background in drug dealing. And nobody thought this was racist or anything. They just fucking did it. And Poe, oh my god, Poe. I'll admit, I will say many things. One, I think Poe was wasting the previous movie, and two, I don't think he needed to be a Jedi to be a good character. He could have the character of a stormtrooper leading a rebellion of other stormtroopers against the people that made them child soldiers would have been interesting. They give him fucking nothing, and then give him the Force at the last minute, even though I know for a fact they were never going to have him be a Jedi throughout any of this trilogy, because they were just wanted the because it's Disney we're talking about, and they just want the fucking brownie points. But
what also kills me about Finn...
this pandering bullshit, and Palpatine, oh my god, I will say Palpatine back in the EU, and this is fucking terrible, but I will...
What kills me about Finn is that, a lot of people were like, hey, his interactions with Poe are pretty homoerotic, and then Disney was like, no, we can't have him be gay.
No.
We gotta create two whole new characters.
They gave both characters so many different love interests. They gave Rose, and oh my god, Rose. I get people didn't like her in The Last Jedi. I'm not gonna comment on that because what the actress went through is fucking terrible, but
yeah,
they did Rose so dirty in this one, and they gave Finn and Poe multiple love interests each, and I'm just Disney is trying to no homo them so hard. It's just...
I'm just enjoying the anguish, I'm sorry.
I am in pain.
I have
Genuine.
nothing to say on this because I never saw this movie. I went and saw Last Jedi, and I was like, yeah, I don't care for this movie, so I'm just not gonna... the only Star Wars movies that the Disney movies made that I liked were Solo and Rogue One. I didn't care...
Oh, I was just gonna say, and those are the side stories and not the main things.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I clearly like these two movies, and most of the audience doesn't even seem to like Solo, so I'm clearly not the target demographic for these movies, and I didn't like Last Jedi, which everyone else seems to love, so I'm just gonna skip this
Last Jedi is, it's weird, because, half of half of the people who watched it think it's like a God's gift to cinema, and the other half of people watched it think it literally took their childhood by the throat, beat the shit out of it, like raped their childhood right in front of them before executing it in cold blood. And like, I'm pretty sure like most of that stuff is like actual descriptors people have used for how much they don't like this movie, and just
Definitely a bit overdramatic with how some
Yeah.
people reacted to the movie.
Yeah, it's a big reason why I just don't talk about this movie.
I don't talk about this movie one because like I don't talk about The Last Jedi because like everything that has been said about can't be said about it has been said, and the atmosphere is so toxic either way. It's like no. So I am glad everyone is in agreement that The Rise of Skywalker is fucking dog shit because
It's definitely one of my least favorite Star Wars movies. I think it's either my second or first least favorite. I'm not sure if I have it worse than the Clone Wars.
I haven't seen the Clone Wars stuff. It's mostly just because I haven't had the time to invest myself in a full-on cartoon.
No, I'm talking about the Clone Wars movie.
Oh,
Episode 2.
That one, Attack of the Clones.
Yes, that's what I meant.
That movie. That movie was okay.
Yeah, but I don't know. So, how about we dig ourselves out of the...
Wait,
you have a point? Sorry.
I haven't done my frustrating movie yet, but I can keep it a little short if I have to.
Going ahead. I ain't in a rush, so...
Okay, so I'm gonna preface this by stating that Lifetime original movies and like anything that's clearly made mostly for like a 30, 40 plus year old wine mom demographic is gonna lead to some interesting movies about teenagers, to say the least.
Oh god.
This movie has been trashed on the internet so many times already, but I still would love to talk about it, and it's Cyberbully.
I don't know this one.
I have never heard of it. What is it?
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
Oh boy, okay, so Cyberbully is supposed to be like a moral movie slash like cautionary tale where this teenage girl signs up for what is essentially a ripoff of Facebook, and like literally a day into it, her life is already falling apart because not only is she instigating people into saying horrible things to her because she's kind of starting stuff, which kind of makes me sound like a victim blamer without any context. She starts getting cyberbullied, and throughout this movie, I'm just like, block them. What the hell is keeping you from blocking these people? And instead of blocking these people, sending her and hate messages and leaving her mean comments, she instead instigates them, gets into public fights with them, which only makes her bullying even worse. And I'm just like, this could literally be resolved by you just ignoring and blocking. Like, if you're supposed to be giving a message to people on how to deal with cyberbullying, you shouldn't be engaging with them because that's what they want. And it gets worse. There's a scene where she's at school, and a majority of the people bullying her online are people from her high school. And there's this guy that walks up, and he mentions how he gets bullied for being gay. And he mentions that like he's getting called all these derogatory and homophobic things on the Facebook site. And she's like, well, at least what they're saying about you is true. What they're saying about me is... And I'm just like, we're supposed to feel bad for this girl, and she's just outright saying things like that?
What the
My God.
Jesus! Sweet baby Buddha in a manger on the moon! What the fuck is that shit?
Like, way to make me hate the main character, who we're supposed to be feeling bad for. Because, like, not only is she doing extremely stupid shit that's making her bullying worse, instead of just stepping away and doing something rational like blocking, she's also
agreeing
just...
to homophobia directly!
She's like justifying homophobia, and it's just like...
What the fuck?
And
Good
I also
God.
want to bring up this scene, which, like, I feel horrible for laughing at this scene, but there is a scene in the movie where the cyberbullying pulls her over the edge, and we see her friend who's really concerned over something she posted. She goes over to her friend's house, like to the girl's house, sees the mom pulling up into the driveway. The two of them run up the stairs, and you see the main character trying to open a jar, like a bottle of pills, and she's like, I can't get the cap off. And I'm just like, oh my god. Like...
Oh, this was back in the day when everyone was all like, oh, we can't get the child-proof cap bottles open, so that's a huge problem that we have to base entire conflicts on.
This is a teenage girl trying to open a bottle of Motrin, and it's just, like, I feel horrible for laughing at a scene where a character is trying to kill herself, but the way you wrote it and made the character extremely stupid in the process, it's just like...
And immensely unlikable by this point.
And immensely unlikable. By the end of the movie, she starts getting her problems figured out, and she literally goes to a support group where we get the genuine message of the movie, and a girl's like, I just block them. And then the main character's like, I wish I figured that out long ago. And I'm just like, it was the most obvious response you could have done, and you just made everything worse by calling people bitches and other horrible things as a response and feeding into this negative attention. They should have just like, literally, it took you that long to realize, oh yeah, the block button exists. Like, if someone is horrible on Twitter, I will block. Like, people block liberally on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and all this other shit. And you mean to tell me in this 2011 movie, where social media has been a thing for quite a few years now, that the block button didn't occur to her in her mind?
Yeah.
It's just overall, it's like, this movie wants me to feel bad for this girl, but she's making really horrible decisions, being extremely unlikable, and the writers making her do the dumbest things in order to try to make us feel bad. And it's just like, oh, I'd love to see, like, a better version of this script where it's like, okay, here's how to react to cyberbullying, because that is still a thing. But when you make the main character... What's that?
I was going to say, the thing with that is that, how long is this movie? I'm curious. It's a Lifetime movie, so it's like, what, 80 minutes or something?
Yeah, let me look it up.
Okay.
Again.
Because I'll tell you right now, this is a movie that can't win.
It's 87 minutes.
Okay, so it's about as long as The Lion King. Fantastic. But here is the thing about this movie, in my mind. The more I hear about it, the more I think... this movie can't win, because if the kid was smart enough to figure out how the block button works, the movie would have been over in 10 minutes. Like that.
Yeah, they had to drag it out.
Yeah,
but like,
so they made it
they
8
times
times
made it like
longer than it needed to be, and in doing so, it just doesn't win.
Like, it just makes you think that the way to respond, like, imagine being a young kid watching this movie, and you see the main character responding really aggressively to, like, all these horrible things being said to her. Like, that is just giving kids the idea that you should, like, respond to people doing these sort of things, when, like, literally the best thing to do is to ignore and block. It's like, I hate when moral movies give out really horrible messages or don't give out their proper message until the very end, because you'll be getting very mixed ideas throughout the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
Well, actually, I'm very curious about something, because the rest of us have all given movies that are, like, pretty publicly known movies that are, like blockbusters or big fandom nerd movies that everyone's heard of. Where did you hear about this movie? Because this doesn't seem like a movie that you would seek out to watch.
I remember seeing ads for it on TV around the time it was airing, which, like, now that I'm looking at the Wikipedia page, it wasn't Lifetime, but ABC Family, which makes a lot more sense because I watched, like, movies on there as a kid. So then a few years later, I start seeing a bunch of different movie reviewers and, like, other, like, content creators talk about the movie and pretty much, like, show a majority of the movie onto YouTube. And I just, like, see it for myself, and I'm just like, this is a whole ass mess. Like, this is a movie that could have been maybe, like, not even a movie. It could have been like a 10 to 15 minute YouTube video, but instead they're like, okay, we need to make the main character make really poor decisions to drag this out.
Who even
And
is in this movie? What's it called?
Cyberbully. The only actress I know is Emily Osment, and she plays the main character, and I only know her because she played the best friend on Hannah Montana and probably other Disney Channel stuff.
Yeah, like I only have I have Emily Osment, but I also have Kay Panabaker and Kelly Rowan.
I feel like I've probably heard of some of these actresses, but like I only recognize Emily Osment by name and face.
Yeah, I'm befuddled. This is a weird movie.
Like, I just think overall, the idea of making a movie about cyberbullying is a good idea. It's just the way they handled it and portrayed it, and the way they portrayed the main character, it just gives me a headache. Why would you do it like this?
That movie had no fucking hope.
Why would you make the main character homophobic when we're supposed to feel bad for her getting, like, relentlessly bullied? Like,
Indeed. It's... I just want to say I find it really funny that we went from a Star Wars movie, a Disney Star Wars movie no less, to some random TV movie that none of us have ever heard of until this point. And then it's like, wow, that's bad.
I mean, the homophobia is the is the linking factor, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Good times. Let's climb out.
If you count if you count Hell to Pay, there's also homophobia in that one.
oh dear.
Yay.
Oh.
Well, I mean, not explicitly, but the fact that, we're going to fridge one of the gay characters in the story to motivate another one, and also have the fact that a male stripper as a joke is kind of also casually homophobic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there we go. Yay! Let's take ourselves out of this fucking hole, okay? Because I got a topic here that I'm sure everybody's got positive vibes for. Snack time! Everybody loves snacks. Half of the joy of going to the movies is to eat snacks that are absolutely horrible for your body, but it doesn't matter. They're delicious in the moment. So, I think I went first, so now it's Honey's turn. What is your choice of movie snacks? Whether it's at home or in the theater, what's your go-to?
Well, if there's one thing that offends me more than anything in the world, it's... I'm kidding.
I was about to say, slow down, please.
No, I don't usually eat snacks when I'm watching a movie at home, primarily just because, I don't watch movies when I'm home alone a lot of the time, and when I'm with my girlfriend, I'm cuddling with her, I'm not really snacking.
Yeah.
But when I'm at a movie theater, my go-to snack to eat is Bunch of Cruncha. I love that shit.
What is that? As a Canadian, I've never heard of this.
But you've all heard of a Crunch Bar, correct?
Hold on. I'm gonna double check. Crunch Bar. Crunch Chocolate Bar. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're basically like, aerated chocolate bars with like Rice Krispie bits curdled in there to give it like that crunch into it.
Yeah. Up here it's got the Nestle label, so.
Yeah, it's probably, I like it a lot better than Nestle's Wonka bar. It's I think that was Nestle who makes the Wonka bars, but yeah, like Bunch of Cruncha is they took the Crunch Bar and they crushed it into small little bite-sized pizzas, bunches of crunch, and you just like it's just like it's a small box of it, and you just shove it, you just pour it into your mouth and like munch on this without having to like hold a candy bar that's gonna. One of the interesting things about Crunch Bars is because they're aerated and filled with like the Rice Krispie things. But Crunch Bars don't actually melt. Like they're like Hershey Bar, but they don't melt very easily.
Yeah. Kind of sounds like turning a Crunch Bar into like a pack of Rolos.
I'm not familiar with Rolos.
I will send you them shortly.
Okay. But yeah, it's basically like small bite-sized pieces of chocolate that crunch, and it's like less sugary nerds in a way,
Okay, that makes sense.
like chocolate flavored nerds.
Yum.
Ooh.
Okay, well, I'm going to very quickly send into the chat. These are Rolos. They're very popular in the UK and a little bit in Canada. Hopefully it actually works and isn't a weird... it's a funky-ass link. Hold on a second. God damn it. Ooh, this is... here's a perfect little shot here of Rolos in a tube, which you can also get. There we go. Rolos!
Yeah, those are pretty good.
I've seen them. I'm not a big fan of caramel, so I never really tried to have
I was
them.
picturing them like those little nubbins things.
No, they're a lot smaller than those.
So and when you said nerds, I'm like, never mind, not like Rolos at all.
Small clusters of nerds all bunched together, and then you chew them up.
Nom, 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 nom. Oh, that actually doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah.
So that's your go-to cinema snack.
Yeah, I'll get a picture of them to show you guys.
Splendid. And while we wait, Fishbowl.
Yep.
What is your movie-eating snacko choice?
It's cliche, but popcorn. But also, I just recently watched Shang-Chi in the theater like 2 days ago.
Ooh.
More theaters should serve donut holes.
Oh, wait. We call those Timbits up here, don't we? Well, I guess if they're branded by Tim Hortons. But yeah.
Like, you know, the little balls that people make out of donut batter?
Yep.
Yeah, that donut holes. More theaters should serve those.
I would not be opposed, because donut holes are delightful. Although I'm pretty sure up here we get them mostly in Timbit form, because Tim Hortons, because Canada!
Oh god, I'm realizing that there's a reason I only eat these things in a movie theater.
I'm guessing they look kind of horrendous.
They look like deer pellets.
Oh dear. Pun not intended. Oh jeez.
They're really good. You just gotta not look at them while you're eating them.
Yep. I mean, new
You just-
look, same great taste. Okay, we'll take your word for it. What you got, Mono? Unless I forgot Fishbowl's thing.
They're both with popcorn.
Popcorn and donut holes.
Popcorn and donut holes.
Donut holes is such a good sounding snack.
Yeah. More movie theaters should sell donuts. Donuts are delicious.
Donut holes, I mean.
And donut holes.
Okay, what is a donut hole?
Oh, basically, it's like a little ball. Hold on.
They're, you know...
Are they munchkins? Are they munchkins?
Hold on. Let me...
Actually, Munchkins might actually be a half-decent analog.
My favorite is actually kind of basic, but it's...
I just uploaded a picture of donut
Yeah,
holes.
like these are totally
Yeah, those look-
Timbits.
Yeah.
Those are cinnamon munchkins.
That looks so good.
Nice to know that you Americans have your equivalents of our. Okay, that's fantastic.
Oh yeah,
we
they're
call
like
them munchkins. You can get them at Dunkin' Donuts.
yeah. So you know what? We call them donut holes because they're like little balls of like a dough that can fit into the hole of a donut. Hence the name. At least that's what I'm thinking.
That's stupid. That's like calling. It's like the food. The whole of the thing is the hole that you're then plugging. Why not call it a donut plug?
Donut plugs. Oh, that's such a funny way to put it.
That is.
I didn't name them.
That's
name
hilarious,
them.
but I love it.
It's not the hole. You're plugging the hole with them.
Hold on. Let me look up the origin. The literal term donut came.
We're going
Where
down
did
a
the
lot of
donut
rabbit
hole
holes
really
this
come
episode, and
from?
I love it.
Yes, I love rabbit
Hold
holes.
Rabbit holes are fun.
What was your one, Mono? In the meantime.
Yeah, mine's kind of basic, but I always enjoy the combo of popcorn and some sort of chocolate candy. I mostly try to go for M&Ms, because I think the saltiness of the popcorn and the sweetness of the chocolate go well together. And
Yeah.
I just need to get, like, some popcorn that has, like, some chocolate on it. That is what I need to do to, like,
Yeah.
Like, it's just so good. Also, I love having Coke
Sweet.
in the
I don't
theater.
Apparently,
care
donut
for-
holes were called that because, like, when they originally they were made by, by cutting out the dough at the center of the donut.
So it was literally just the hole carved out to be eaten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so bad.
I will say there's actually a little bit of science to that because salt opens your taste buds because of the sodium ion channels in your taste buds. So it opens them. So that's why salt is such a good universal seasoning because it really makes flavors pop. So that's why sweet and salty.
I don't usually eat popcorn that much, primarily because I just don't like. It's such a basic food. It never really I never really get enjoyment out of the popcorn.
But what it's paired with is what matters, as Mono said, because like pairing up popcorn with M&Ms, that's the play.
Yeah, but at the same point, you can never get a bag of M&Ms of the same quantity as the popcorn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I need to get like chocolate covered popcorn. But I don't want it to be like completely covered in chocolate. I want like maybe like the top of the popcorn is like covered in chocolate, or at least have the popcorn be drizzled in chocolate. I'd have to think about it. I just think
an interesting idea, actually. That's definitely worth trying.
You're thinking of kernel corn.
Oh,
yeah,
there you go. That's a good way to do it.
I need to get that.
Maddie's choice of snacks was always popcorn, as long as it's salted, in brackets, because in the UK they have, in the UK, I learned not that long ago, they actually have sweet popcorn too. So it's like a debate between which is better in the UK. A blue raspberry slushy or an apple one if you can find one.
Yeah, I saw him talking about that on Twitter.
Oh god, I would love an apple slushy. Oh, I wish they sold apple slushies out here.
That would be good. Also, I'm just looking at this chocolate drizzled popcorn, and I'm going to die. Yes, yes, salivating. That is a mood.
Yeah, no, chocolate kernel kern is delicious. I love it.
Oh, salivation! I love it. He has also had nachos, and apparently some places in the UK sell hot dogs in the movie theater. So that's interesting.
Ooh, I've heard of nachos, but I haven't heard of hot dogs.
I've seen hot dogs a lot.
Yeah.
In America, you have to you have to ask for buttered popcorn separately.
Really?
They
Wait,
will
what?
not. They don't. Where the movie theaters I've always gone to, the butter is like they have a separate thing for buttered popcorn.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. It's because in the theaters I go to, they just give you popcorn as it is, and you can go to a place to choose what kind of stuff you want to put on it.
Right. Yeah. So you have to either ask them to butter it directly, or you just do it yourself, which we usually do ourselves.
They don't give you the option at the movie theaters I've gone to. They just have two different machines, one that has buttered popcorn and one that doesn't.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Before I get to Marz's, mine was my nachos, as was mentioned, was actually really good, but usually we just kind of go with the old standbys of just like candy and salted popcorn because I'm boring. But my local movie theater has an adult thing, and it's not like adult because it's showing adult movies. It's showing like more mature movies, sure, but it's an adult only thing because they serve you alcohol in the theater.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
And not only that, they bring you full meals too. Like,
Wait, is this the Alamo?
no, this is the Cineplex in my hometown.
Oh, this is amazing. I dream of going to this place, having like a full dinner meal with a drink along with it.
And you could get refills on the drinks. And here's the kicker, pun not intended: the seats in the adult theater are recliners.
There's a theater exactly like this called the Alamo in my hometown, and it was like my first experience going back to the movies amidst all the, going to see Suicide Squad in that theater, in that place.
In the Alamo? Yeah.
Yeah, in the Alamo.
Yeah, I really want to do that. Like, I want to have, like, an adult movie theater experience like that, because that seems really cool. And also, a good excuse to watch a shitty movie just to get drunk and make fun of it. But...
Oh, yeah.
But yeah,
No,
my
I'm pretty
usual movie
like-
my usually movie theater standbys are what you would expect: popcorn and candy. But I am always down for some nachos because nachos,
I love nachos.
delicious.
I sadly don't get many opportunities to drink while watching a movie, primarily because my girlfriend can't drink alcohol, so I don't want to drink while I'm with her.
Yeah, that's and that's completely fair. But it's like, hey, if there is an opportunity and it works out, how bad can it be?
Yeah.
And Marz's choice of movie snacks. The first line is, "You wouldn't catch me dead paying for snacks in a theater," which, I mean, you're not wrong. They are very expensive.
Yeah, my mom would literally always just buy candy from like a dollar store and then just put it in her purse and be like, oh, they're not going to hear it.
Yep. Smuggled them in that way. But at
Well,
home... Sorry, go
I
ahead.
usually just justify it as, this is my lunch.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna buy $7 for a movie, and then I'm gonna pay like $2-3 extra bucks for some candy, and I spent like $10. That's my lunch.
There you go. There you
Yep.
go. It was just, and then, but Marz said that at home, she likes an actual meal or to surround herself in a little bit of variety snacks. Because in her mind, as she mentioned before, a movie is an all-day thing. So, that's kind of her shtick. Fishbowl gets to start the next category. Fishbowl gets to
me.
start the next category, which is, we have our favorite genres of movies, right? Like a lot of us like our action movies or our dramedies or our foreign language South Korean horror movies about giant wood lice or giant sea lice that eat people. But depending on how niche or how wide branding there are just some movies that we just haven't caught, really, or haven't caught in a while. So, what is one genre movie that you want to try and watch? And Fishbowl is up
Honestly,
first.
martial arts films.
Ooh,
Yeah, that's a good one.
I have movies to recommend if you want some.
Seconded.
I will write. Yeah, honestly, someone in the chat is like, I like action films. I like sci-fi films. I've been getting into horror sci-fi films with like my dad,
Yeah.
but like, and I don't think I could ever sit. I don't think I could ever sit still during a romance film. So martial arts films are pretty much like the next place to go.
I got
But like,
you.
I don't really know where to. I don't really know where to start.
Well, I gave like the most obvious answer on the planet, but there's a reason why it's the most obvious answer on the planet.
I could talk. I could love to talk with Wraith about Enter the Dragon some other time.
Like-
I'm also gonna. I'm putting some of my own options down here as well.
Love it, love it. Oh, I got one. And The Raid and its sequel with Iko Uwais. Fucking awesome martial arts movies. Those Raid movies. Also, I'd love to
I actually really do want to see the raid. I really do want to see the raid.
I saw one of the fight scenes in that movie, and it's like, because there's a website called badassoftheweek.com. I don't know if it's still around, but it would like catalog a random badass thing every week, and one of them was an article on Iko Uwais, and it showed a few clips from his movies, and the man's a fucking madman with the salat sticks, dude. Like in one movie, he like just grabs 2 small lead pipes and beats the shit out of some random people with them. It's like, I love it. But on the topic of Enter the Dragon, I feel like that would be a really good movie for me, Honey, and Judge to talk about, because Judge is obviously the Super Shiva fan, so I'm sure that he's got some parallels there.
Judge got to watch me live tweet about watching Enter the Dragon.
I love that. That is fantastic. Excuse me. Oh yeah.
But yeah, I posted a whole bunch of kung fu movies to help you get into the genre.
Yeah, Man with the Iron Fist. That's an interesting one I haven't seen yet.
The first one is actually pretty unique in that it was made by the Wu-Tang Clan actually.
Oh.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
the director is one of the Wu-Tang Clan members, and they used the Wu-Tang Clan for the music. The sequel was not made by him, but the sequel is batshit insane with what they do, and it is amazing.
Yum.
Yeah, I recommend all of the movies that I just posted down. Bulletproof Monk is actually one of the few American-made kung fu movies that I think actually holds up next to a lot of other kung fu movies.
which is really good to know. And
Yeah.
I threw in Enter the Dragon and the Raid movies because I mean Enter the Dragon that's an obvi one, that's a gimme, but there's a reason
Yeah.
why it's a gimme. It literally inspired the Mortal Kombat franchise as a whole. So
And Street Fighter.
and Street Fighter, yeah, you know the whole get into a martial arts tournament on an island with.
I honestly would recommend the 90s Street Fighter movie. It's weird. It's absolutely like a really goofy and cheesy movie, but I can't help but love it. Like, Raul Julia is giving it his all. God bless him. Like, I still
Jean-Claude
love
Van
the
Damme
story.
as Guile is still hilarious to me.
All I
Yeah.
know about that movie is what was his name? M. Bison
Yep.
in the line delivery of. For you,
Well-
it was.
Oh, I've seen that
Yeah.
entire speech. It is brilliant.
It is so good.
Yeah,
It's actually been forever since I've seen them, but the Mortal Kombat movies from that same time period I remember them being good, but it's been forever since I've seen
The
them.
first Mortal Kombat movie in '95 was actually surprisingly good, but depending on how you feel about, depending on how you feel about the 2021 movie, regard at Annihilation as the worst. Definitely the biggest definitely one. And again, you have to compare it to the 2021 movie because of how much it fucks with the canon. But like, Shao Kahn and Raiden are brothers in the Annihilation movie, and I don't care that it's a spoiler because I'm telling you not to watch this movie because Annihilation is terrible.
Like Annihilation.
Yeah, Annihilation is bad, dude.
Yeah, okay, but yeah, so Fishbowl. So what movies actually do you like in terms of like specific genres? Because there might be like more kung fu movies that like speak to specific genres that you do already like.
I like sci-fi genre. I don't really fantasy. I don't like magical shit, but I like magical shit in movies. But like I don't know, for whatever reason, fantasy has never been like.
Crouching
I don't know,
Tiger,
that
Hidden
thing
Dragon
for me.
kind of straddles the line with the mystical shit a little bit with all the high.
Yeah, like I
flying-
like mystical shit.
with all the high
like I don't
flying
know, Lord
crap
of the
that happens in it. So Crouching Tiger, Hidden
Raid
Dragon might be good.
probably- Among these movies, The Raid and Enter the Dragon are definitely the more grounded, realistic kung fu movies. The Raid particularly like blew people's minds because of how grounded it was as a movie.
Yeah.
A lot of the movies I recommended are very fantasy because kung fu as a whole genre is basically China's version of fantasy. Their fantasy movies are kung fu movies.
Which
So
is
it's
why
hard-
which is why Drunken Master's at the top there, because drunken boxing isn't really a thing to my knowledge.
No, it is entirely a myth that was then turned into. There is a martial arts style called drunken boxing, but it is entirely psychological. There's no one actually gets drunk doing it. It's you pretend to be drunk and use awkward movement that your opponent can't really read to give yourself an advantage in the fight. There is no secret hidden technique that you acquire by getting drunk.
I didn't think so. As much as Boraicho would like to disagree, but you know, it's
Damn.
Boraicho. Boraicho, fun
This
fact.
Yakuza lied to me.
Boraicho, fun fact, his name is a corruption of the Spanish word borracho, which means drunk.
Fair enough.
But, you know, he was always supposed to be a joke character, even though vomit moves.
Yeah, I did not care about that character.
That is completely fair. Mono! What do you got?
All right. So, oh my gosh. A genre I'd like to see more of, which it is a genre I'm a fan of. It's just more specifically a country's specific type. Let me explain. I love horror movies for the most part. I would love to watch more Japanese horror films
Ooh.
because the way they like this, the topics they tackle are really interesting to me. I'd love to see the original Ring, like Ringu. I'd love to see the original Grudge. And I would love to watch any movie based off of any of Junji Ito's works. I've been learning more about his mangas and his movies.
Oh,
like
Junji
movies.
Ito's works are fucking amazing.
They are. The art is so good, and I love how disturbing it can be with how pretty his art is and how he can draw like really realistic looking humans.
The one caveat is if you are going to get into Uzumaki, be warned, it's only like 50% actual horror. The other half is just absurdist nightmare fuel that just makes you start laughing.
That
Wait,
I totally be
Uzumaki?
down
Are you talking about
for.
the movie or the manga?
The manga. I have not seen the movie. I'm not big. I haven't watched a lot of horror movies, mostly because this is going to be my topic for movies genres that I want to get into more.
Yeah, I
But
get you.
I have read Junji Ito's Uzumaki, and it is like half the chapters are horror, and the other half are
I
just.
mean, the thing's about like trying to make Spiral scary, so like the concept of a spiral scary. And for the most part, I'd say he's succeeded, but I don't know.
Genuinely
like, the
surprised
chapter-
I'm genuinely surprised he never did a chapter on spiral staircases.
Oh
Wait,
yeah.
he did the lighthouse thing. He did the
The
lighthouse.
lighthouse, yeah, but
A specific Junji Ito like manga. I want to see the adaptations based like that were created from it. I want to see the Tomie movies. There's something about.
I have yet to read. Oh, sorry. Continue.
I was gonna say the concept of this really pretty girl who's actually this really weird regenerative entity. There's so much body horror elements. Everyone around her just hates her so much for no real discernible reason, but at the same time, Tomie herself is this really nasty and mean and like callous person. It is really interesting to me. I want to know more. Just seeing some of these really creepy images of her, like where she has like a face growing off of her, I'm just like, I want to know more what's going on with this chick.
Still
Indeed.
need to read. I still need to read Hellstar Ramina because I have it on my shelf. It's on my list. But like I don't know. Every time I get around to it, I have like a bunch of other stuff I also want to read because I just picked up Something is Killing the Children and East of West like yesterday, and I really want to get to those, but I still have like a bunch of other stuff on my backlog that I need to get.
Totally fair. I apologize to interject real quick, but I just learned something because I got a notification for it on Twitter now instead of when it went up at like 8 o'clock in the morning. But apparently it's Judge's birthday today. So even though Judge is not here in the cast today, happy birthday, Judge.
Yeah,
So just gonna wish them a real quick happy birthday in the chat.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. So just happy.
maybe
Just,
get some lovely Lady Shiva news today.
yes. Let us hope. Let us hope that Lady Shiva gets some good news for their behalf. Was there anything else you wanted to add real quick, Mono? Or
Nothing really. It's just like Japanese horror looks really interesting because it covers different types of horror from American, or I should say like more Western horror movies, where there's a lot more stuff about like spirits and ghosts, and Junji Ito's work is just like mindfuckery. While
Totally.
most American horror nowadays, it's like demons, ghosts, and slashers, and it's like I want to see a little more variety. I want to see what the rest of the planet is coming up with in terms of horror.
and you also have Japanese folklore you could go into as well,
That too.
because you have all kinds of things. You have dream monsters. You have objects that become cursed after 100 years of existence. Even some of the weirder stuff, like there's a yokai in Japanese myth that is just, if I understand it right, it's just a floating mouth with a tongue that has a penchant for licking bathroom filth, and a lady with two mouths. Like she has a normal mouth, and then she has a mouth in the back of her head, which inspired the Pokemon Mawile. So,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, that's cool.
and she
So
was
that's what that was.
One of the things I greatly respect about Japanese mythology and stuff is that it's still growing to this day. Like, European mythology basically died with the Enlightenment era, and white America has never really had much in terms of mythology beyond a few folklores. But Japanese mythology, even into like the 80s and 90s, had like continued to create more yokai based on modern things. Like, because the thing with their yokais is they're always sort of based on things in the everyday appliances that sort of come to life and become malevolent. And so, just as more and more new modern things became just entered the appliances that everyday citizens would have, they just kept adding to the yokai list rather than abandoning the genre altogether.
Like kitsune, for instance. How now one way to tell if you have a kitsune on the other line is that you say moshi moshi over the line because kitsune can't say that. Also, Mono wanted to give a heads up, but do need to head out before our last topic, and unfortunately wasn't able to think of anything. Because
Like,
yeah,
I'll still stick around for like the rest of this specific topic, but I do need to leave in soon.
yeah, no, I getcha. And I admittedly kind of picked a really hard one for the last one, so I do apologize. But
It's okay.
But I did kind of give an alternative to like, okay, well maybe instead of fan casting actors for the movie, you would fan cast the characters. Like, who would you want in a movie for that franchise? Like, if you can even just give a real quick, like, if you made a Hellboy movie, who do you want in the Hellboy movie? That would be an example.
Okay.
But we'll put a pin on that for now. And actually, feel free to type it out just because I know you got to run. So if you just type it out and get a move on, that would be mucho appreciated, Mono. So I'll move into the one genre for me. I want to watch more foreign movies as well, because I was on this really weird kick where I would just browse TV, and whenever I was sick, I would just browse TV, and then I would just watch Italian soap operas. I don't know why. I couldn't understand a lick of what they were saying, but I thought everybody was attractive and everything seemed interesting, so I figured, why the fuck not? And then sometimes you'd stay up too late, and then you'd find the real racy soap operas that I was like, oh my Jesus Christ, they are actually showing that on scene.
Are these the same? Is this the same stuff where you get like women with like triple D plastic surgery tits flecking around everywhere?
Yes. Yes. Especially if it's late night, but when children are actually up, so the soap operas, like one of the I saw a little bit of Coronation Street. I think that's what I'm going to answer with. I want to find a soap opera that I actually kind of like, because I saw a little bit of Coronation Street, and it admittedly intrigued me, which is funny, because Coronation Street has been around for longer than Doctor Who's fucking been, so...
I don't know any soap operas, but I can recommend a few Korean shows and movies, because my mom and I both really like watching Korean stuff every now and then when it becomes popular enough to get sent over to the West.
And
Train to Busan is a really good one.
I did make the mention of this. The Host was something I just kind of made a quick jab at, but...
Okay.
But I am down to hear from more Korean stuff, so...
Yeah, Train to Busan, which was a big knockout seller movie that came over to the West.
Now they're making an American version. Ain't that exciting?
This is Old Boy all over again. Also watch.
Yeah.
Also watch Old Boy.
Okay.
The original.
Oh, no shit. I am the person who's been trying to campaign for Babs to be Oracle, even though she hasn't technically been Oracle proper since 2009. I don't mind old shit.
Yeah. The remake is literally like a frame-to-frame copy of the original Korean, but with American actors, and like it just does not work under an American setting. Like they don't even bother changing like ramen to hamburgers or.
Eat your hamburgers, Apollo.
Yeah, I'm talking about this just to Mono now at this point. Like the spicy one is set in Louisiana. Why not change ramen to like crayfish dinery or something that like there's going to be just something that there's going to be a million of them around the corner that you can actually eat, because they do it in Louisiana, but they still just have it be ramen bowls everywhere.
4K Pokemon dub made me giggle when you brought that up, because I remembered when the 4K Pokemon dub turned rice balls into jelly-flavored donuts. I don't understand. The dub is awful. But yeah, I'm definitely down to check out Train to Busan, the original.
Yeah, Train to Busan is really good. Really. There's also a sequel actually by the Koreans being made also, I believe.
Ooh, nice.
Ooh.
Yes.
Fantastic. Marz's answer is comedy, and their explanation is she genuinely doesn't like secondhand embarrassment, so most comedies are a no-go for her, and she'd like to find some that she can watch without cringing. So
I understand completely. I would recommend a lot of actually a lot of foreign comedy then in that case, Japanese and Chinese comedy, because they tend to be a lot more slapstick heavy.
Okay. So
Slapstick and like big flashy like silly images and references. Like it's based less on embarrassment and more on silly shit happening. So I would definitely recommend a lot more like Asian comedy in that case.
yeah. Yeah, I get you. So I just sent that recommendation over to Marz in your stead.
Okay.
And I also have the final thing. So it was nice to have you around, Mono. And I
Yeah.
understand you got places to go and shit to do, so I will let you go.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on, and it was nice to meet you, Honey, and it's always great to talk to Fishbowl and Brian both. I can't wait for the next episode.
Yeah. Which, prepare, it's gonna get spooky.
Nice, I can't wait.
Halloween.
Of course, we need to do a Halloween special up in this bitch. So, so I'll be working on topics for that for a little while. But I don't know if we'll do the Halloween. I'm not even. Could we do a double feature for the WraithCast in October? Maybe. We'll think.
Maybe.
We'll think about. I'll pass it around at the end. But for now, Mono, go kick butt.
See you, everybody.
Take care.
Take care, man.
All right. So, and Maddie's answer for genre is they watch most genres, and the genres they don't for a reason. But if they want to try a genre, those are mostly just pick whatever movie looks good to them. So,
Fair enough.
ain't picky, which
Fair
is
enough.
something I respect. Now we come to the last one, which is always the pain in the ass for people because it's such a big thing, and it's something that just
I'm just gonna say again that you skipped over me again.
God damn it!
We started with Fishbowl this time, so it just didn't do me yet.
God damn it! Brain. This is the problem with doing these podcasts. My brain gets all scatterbrained. I'm sorry, honey.
It's okay. We can skip past mine pretty quickly because my thing is horror, primarily just because a lot of Western horror is very. I scare really easily, and a lot of Western horror, I get scared just by the trailers, and I don't really care to experience any more of it. My girlfriend, though, is really into horror, so I'm going to be more reliant on her to recommend me shit for this stuff. So we can just bleed right past me on this one.
Yeah. So it's just horror. Horror is the one that you want to try, and I totally understand that. And again, I apologize for skipping over you twice in this fucking cast. It's just
The other one was completely understandable. Even I figured, like, they're just going to see this one as my answer. But this one, yeah, no, it's... we can blizz right past this one. My girlfriend's probably going to be helping me out with this eventually.
awesome. But again, this one's more like inexcusable instead of inconceivable. Thank God Princess Bride references still work.
Anyway.
I'm again terribly sorry about that. Is
On to the actual next question now.
Indeed. The final question even. Apologies, I do get scatterbrained very easily if you couldn't tell. Right. So, oh god. And this is what we're talking about. Cast a movie. So as you could probably imagine, this is one of those ones that just goes, oh god, what the fuck are we going to do about this? Because we're not casting directors, any of us. So, and hell, and, you know, my acting slate is very, very small. Like, I still want to cast Leonardo DiCaprio as Scarecrow, so that's a problem. But I figured, if not casting the movie directly, then casting if it's going to be a licensed movie, because there's the original concept too. If you want to cast an original movie, there's also the option for like just who do you want to see in a Batman movie, as an example. Like, is there a villain in a Batman movie that you feel needs a little more love, for instance? So I want to expand upon that so that, you know, we can actually get some in here. And I'm going to actually let Honey go first so that I don't feel like a dunderhead and forget her for the third consecutive time.
It's okay. Yeah, I do not know many actors. The first the first actor I can think of that I would love to see, and I'm actually just gonna I'm just gonna go with this. I would like to see Antonio Banderas as Scarecrow in a Batman movie.
Oh, I like that. Interesting pick, though. Why Antonio Banderas?
Mostly because I haven't actually seen him in anything recently. Like, he seems to have just completely vanished after, like, Spy Kids or maybe a few other movies after that, but just, like, he doesn't, like, there was,
He's living off that Puss in Boots money, that's why.
yeah, Puss in Boots money, and it's just, like, he's just not really around anymore, and I want to bring him back. I want to see him do more things, and Scarecrow is, in my opinion, one of the, like, he's had a renaissance recently. He had Arkham Knight. He's in the new big Batman event, Fear State. But neither of these are really Scarecrow stories. More, let's use the fear toxin or as a weapon. Or in Fear State, let's just have Scarecrow as a looming bad guy behind the scenes and not really do anything with him.
Right.
I want an actual story about Scarecrow and Scarecrow himself as the villain. Like, an actual, like, because I want him to be the, I'm going to monologue about my opinions and have a big master plan that you need to figure out and thwart. Back to, like, the Burton Schumacher days of Batman villains where the villain actually, like, mattered as the antagonist type of situation. And because Scarecrow is just one of those characters where he's almost never used as a character, more as a plot contrivance to introduce the fear toxin to things. And it's just, I want Scarecrow to really do stuff in a story. I want him to interact with people and do stuff, because he's a very interesting character when you actually, like, look at what he's done in the past and his background and all that.
Yeah, when you actually bother to use him in more than a capacity of just, oh, he's a living, breathing plot device.
Yeah, like, a lot of writers will just throw him down as mad scientist, and that'll be that. But the thing is, he didn't debut as a mad scientist. He was a mercenary assassin, terrifying, using the fear stuff. He wasn't even using the fear toxin at first, actually. He just scared people to death, and that was his thing. He was a mercenary who killed people by scaring them to death. And then he later on moved on to the fear toxin as a way to do that more efficiently. And just do that, like, as an actual thing, like have him, like, go full ham and make him a terrorist. The full embodiment of fear as, I am going to strike fear into a nation by being an actual terrorist. And just, like, you could even, like, explore some interesting things with Scarecrow and terrorism, in that, technically, if you consider the legal definition of a terrorist, somebody who enforces their own political agenda through fear and violence. That is literally what Batman is.
Indeed.
So that would be a really interesting juxtaposition to have Batman having to confront the actual nature of what he does as a character versus the embodiment of fear functioning as an actual, like one of those generic schlocky action terrorist guys from, like, White House Down and all those type of things, where, like, there's just this big evil terrorist cell trying to kill the president or something, like trying to kill the mayor of Gotham.
Die Hard.
Causing international... What?
Jeremy Irons' character in Die Hard.
Yeah, pretty much. Just like one of those characters, but you replace the generic bland as nails villain characters they get for that and replace it with Scarecrow. And have Antonio Banderas just be himself, be his fantastic, ultra charming, super suave character being Scarecrow.
Indeed. Kind of like, again, with Jeremy Irons as Die Hard, they used him for that reason, because he had that charm about him.
Exactly.
Would you extend this to who would you cast for Batman and anybody else who's involved, or is it is just the focus on Scarecrow?
I don't really know many actors. Antonio Banderas is literally just the first name that came up to my mind when you were describing the premise. So I didn't really have that many people I would think to play. But actually, now that I'm thinking about it, an actor I would like to see play Batman. I am struggling to remember his name off the top of my head, but he already played Bane and he played Venom.
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy.
I would like to see Tom Hardy be Batman.
That's an interesting move. One I can.
Because he's very good. Because the thing is that the most important thing about Bruce Wayne as a character that never really gets done at all, really, is they always do Bruce, the broody loner guy who's sad and in pain, and sometimes they will also do Batman as well. Like, the Schumacher stuff was really good at doing Batman and sometimes doing Bruce Wayne. The only time billionaire Bruce Wayne, playboy philanthropist, actually, like, was a character on the story was in, like, The Dark Knight. When they actually like had him buy up a hotel, buy up a diner, and like be his douchey self, and we've never seen Matches Malone on the silver screen, and Tom Hardy is a fantastic character actor. He can play a billion different types of people, and having him actually play this multifaceted person who can shift from Dark Knight terror of the streets to broody sad boy moping in his basement, to airheaded billionaire philanthropist, to sweet-talking, charismatic criminal of the streets. Like, being able to swap between all of those different things. Tom Hardy's probably one of the few actors who could really do that.
And I certainly would not be opposed to that, I don't think.
I'd be interested.
Okay. That's my pick.
The Batman and besides the Batman Scarecrow movie just sounds really cool in general, and that would be something worth checking out.
Yeah.
Fishbowl.
I don't really know a lot of actors, and I'm struggling to come up with for voice actors, but like, I made a tweet a while ago, like a few days ago, saying that the only way I would ever be okay with the Joker showing up in in one of the Pattinson movies is if Willem Dafoe played him.
Well,
Because, I don't know, I'm just throwing that out there. But, like, no, that's not my pick. Because I don't really know who...
well, I will say this. I would love to see a Willem Dafoe Joker.
Oh, definitely, like... Because, like, I know he'd knock it out of the fucking park.
His Green Goblin was pretty much literally just the Joker in a flight suit.
Yeah. So, no sense in not recycling that there, and then get your boy back.
Mm-hmm. With how old William Dafoe is at this point, it would actually be really good to do, like, if some madman wanted to actually do a live action Dark Knight Returns movie, that would be a really
Willem
good
Dafoe
to play.
Yep, Willem Dafoe.
But, like, I know.
Is 66.
Yeah.
Wait, he's in Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, no, I
Don't know about the Lost Kingdom, but he was in Aquaman, yeah.
Yeah, he was pretty good in Aquaman.
Yeah.
I liked him in that.
Huh, the more you know.
He was one of his more subdued roles.
Yeah.
Fairs.
But Fishbowl, what you didn't seem to actually want to pick William Dafoe. So who do you
Like,
actually want?
It's a fan cast that's been floating around for a while now. But, like, I'd love to have, like, in an animated project, Jon Stewart be voiced by Lance Reddick, if that's his... Lance Reddick.
Who?
Lance
What?
Reddick.
I'm bad with names.
I'd
Like,
love
give
to
me
have
a-
Jon Stewart be he would play Zavala in Destiny. He was like, you know, the black guy who helps run the that hotel in the John Wick movies?
Oh, okay. Oh, him, yeah.
Yeah, that's Lance Reddick.
Okay.
And get him to voice Jon Stewart.
Yeah, because, like, some people have said, like, he'd probably be a bit, like, I know one person I know who is a big Jon Stewart fan. They say that he's a bit too old to play, like, Jon Stewart in live action, but, like, I'm not letting that go. Like, he'd have a perfect voice for Jon.
And
I'm
besides, age shouldn't really stop somebody. Sigourney Weaver is fucking 71, and I would still cast her for a DC movie.
No, yeah, these
Yeah.
actors, we've got the makeup department that we can, and the CGI, we could de-age a person down. Like, remember for Ant-Man and the Wasp when we had We saw Hank Pym, like 40 years younger.
Yeah.
And also, I just point out that like Lance Reddick has aged phenomenally, man.
Yeah, he
So,
has.
like-
Now that I know who he is.
Yeah.
Like, hold on, let me check out his age.
I mean, I'm not gonna. I was gonna say something, but then I realized I'm white. I'm not gonna say that.
58. He looks fucking 40, man.
Jesus.
I mean, my mother's the same way, but like,
Still. Damn. Still.
black
Damn.
don't crack, man. Black don't crack.
Yes, that was what I was gonna say, but I realized I am too white to say that.
Next, I have permission.
Oh God. I've thought about casts myself for a while now, so I've just got spitball random ass ideas that I want. That again, for the Birds of Prey idea, I want Savannah Welch as Oracle. Journey Smollett can still be Black Canary. I don't know if I'd keep Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Huntress. She's definitely something. She's definitely like got a head start there, but I don't know.
I will fight you if you take her off that movie.
Okay, well that's reason number one that Mew decides to stay on there. I will say this though, just because of how her name abbreviates, I want to hide just a random little Mew figurine on her somehow. Just to have that little sneaky, sly remark, because it's Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She is Mew. We just gotta... I want to make that joke so bad.
Her version of Huntress absolutely would have like a little Mew figurine on her dashboard or hanging on a keychain or something.
Something like that, right?
Yeah.
I don't know who I'd cast for Zinda Blake for Lady Blackhawk, but Maddie has a pretty good cast that I think that I'll look into. But other ones I really want to just spitball and throw out there. I want Ryan Reynolds as the Trickster.
Ooh, he would be really good.
Because the Trickster is 50s, 60s Joker, but actually allowed to be 50s, 60s Joker in the modern era. He was...
The thing I love about the Trickster is that he's the Joker if he, like, I got bored of the joke. I'm just gonna have fun being the smartest guy in the room. That's what's funny to me.
Yeah, like, again, to go to the CW travesties for a second, I love that fucking Mark Hamill played the Trickster in one episode.
Yeah.
Stole the goddamn show.
That was very much early Silver Age Trickster, not 70s to 80s Trickster where, okay, I'm kind of going to try to be a reformed guy at this point.
Yeah, and I wouldn't mind if Ryan Reynolds did a little bit of both, right? Like, have him be crazy, but also I really like the scene where the Flash in JLU basically gets information and arrests the Trickster just by talking to him,
Or have it be like a one last crime type of thing where he's like, okay, I want to reform, but like, okay, I need this one last job, and he accidentally like just pisses off the Birds of Prey and they start hunting him down.
Yeah, that would actually be a really good plot. And then we can even have the Flash show up and be like, ladies, take it easy on this guy. I'll take care of it. Like, just as a little cameo.
Yeah.
But that doesn't even necessarily have to be for a Black Birds of Prey movie. I was just spitballing casting. I want Andrew Garfield back as Spider-Man, goddammit.
Oh my god. Well, we have No Way Home trailer now.
I know.
We have confirmation that old enemies are returning. Who's to say that the other Spider-Man... Wait, didn't one of the actors already say that he had a lot of fun and working with Toby already?
I think it was Tom. That sounds like something Tom would do because Tom is
No,
terrible
it
at
wasn't
giving
Tom. It was the guy who played one of the teachers in Far From Home.
Ah, okay. Yeah, so there's that hope at least, but again, still wanting that.
The one thing I really liked about Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man is that he's the one actor to play him who recognized that Peter Parker is an asshole.
Oh yeah.
He is he is such an asshole. He's like the biggest conceited asshole in the room in like his early Ditko era comics. Like he is the biggest.
Oh my god, he is
jerk.
such an unlikable dick.
Yeah.
Like I remember one issue where Flash was kidnapped by Doctor Doom for dressing up as Spider-Man. It was a weird issue, and Peter like legit considers like letting Doctor Doom, letting Doctor Doom keep Flash before going back to save him. I'm just like, you fucking asshole.
Bullies will
Like-
do that to you though. So there's a reason why he's a dick. So
Like man was starting fights every other issue. Like
Yeah, like if I want a teenage origin story of Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield was probably the best one to beat it.
indeed, and even when he was less of an asshole in the second movie, he still plays a fantastic Spider-Man.
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, even like because like as you go on, you see Peter like I guess kind of mellowing out as he goes on. So like that's my reason. Like he kind of mellowed out by then.
Totally, absolutely. Like
He-
it's
he
part of the
was
reason why I
dick,
still think
but-
it's part of the reason why I still think Spider-Man PS4 is my favorite Spider-Man, because he's had 8 years to realize, hey, maybe it's not a good idea to taunt the giant man with the samurai sword. Ooh,
I mean, taunting a man with a giant samurai sword is never a bad idea. He's still gonna do it, but he knows. But now he knows
Yeah.
it's a bad idea.
absolutely. There was, if this was, I think what would be really cool if this was years and years ago, you know, when Shiva was actually before Shiva got her shit kicked in by the comics, I kind of would have liked to have seen what the fuck is her name? Lucy Liu do Lady Shiva, and I think she can still pull off Lady Shiva. It's just that, like, if I were to cast it, if I were to do an 80s 90s Shiva movie, Lucy Liu would be my number one.
Yeah. A Richard Dragon Kung Fu Master live action movie with a Shiva guest appearance.
Yep. Or even do a rendition of The Question with Lucy Liu as
Ooh.
Lady Shiva, as an
Yeah.
example. And on that topic, Tom Hardy as Vic Sage seems like a really smart idea.
Tom Hardy would make an amazing Question.
Absolutely. And my last one, just because this is an animated thing, and I think it would be really fucking hilarious if this were to happen. Don't ask me why I think it's hilarious, but I think it is. I would like when they decide to do a Spyro the Dragon movie, I want Tom Kenny to still be Spyro, but I want Tom Hiddleston to be Sparks. I don't know why, but I'm just picturing Sparks only being able to be understood by Spyro, and his voice when Sparks is talking to Spyro is Tom Hiddleston. I don't know why, but that just jumps out at me, and I want it.
I
Just
think
remembered something because
especially if we mean Spyro as in the rebooted version of the games, where like they actually do talk.
Oh, yeah. Well, if it's Legend of Spyro, then that blows the doors wide open. But I'm talking more classic Spyro, where Sparks does talk, but he talks like that, right? But
Yeah,
it'd be funny.
and,
It'd be funny if he talked like that to everybody except Spyro, and Spyro's the only one who can hear what Sparks is actually saying, and it's Tom fucking Hiddleston. Or hell, gender bend Sparks, and then have Sigourney Weaver be Sparks, because I have to get the Sigourney Weaver thing in there somewhere. And then, was there anything you wanted to say before I got to everybody else's Fishbowl?
wait, has everyone else already did their fan cat? Wait.
It's us three have given our things, and then the rest is the people who left.
Yes. Yeah. That.
Okay, so I remember seeing something on Twitter where some people said, "Oh, I want Timothy Chalamet, whatever his name is. You know what I'm talking about? The basic white boy
Yeah.
who's gonna be Dune." Yeah, a lot of people have been wanting him to play more Norman Osborn. No, not Norman, Harry Osborn. Harry Osborn in like the MCU movie, right? And like, here's the thing, I'm not into it, but I saw this one video where he's with Zendaya for like a red carpet premiere, and he points at the camera, it's like, "Yo, watch out!" Like what? Like you better watch out, Tom, or something like that, like as a joke, right? And a lot of people have been saying like, "Oh, he's pulling some Harry Osborn moves," yeah. Even with this, I'm not entirely sold on the idea of Timmy Champagne being Harry Osborn, but the image of Timmy Champagne, Timothy Chalamet, he's gonna be, I guess he's in Dune. Hold on, looks like every generic attractive white boy rolled into one.
Gotcha. He's got the flared nostrils.
He looks like.
Because I swear, every white boy actor I have seen in the past, like, 5-10 years has had the most flared nostrils around. It's just like...
that's a bit of an odd thing to notice.
They all have it, and it's really bothering me. Like, every Disney boy star has flared nostrils, and it's really getting under my skin. I have no idea why. It's like the pettiest thing for me to notice, but they all seem to have it.
For whatever reason,
I'm gonna feed into the pettiness for a second and just say better ventilation. But that seems mean, and I'm sorry, but you were the one who pointed out the flared nostrils, and I had a snarky...
Hold on, this is an image of this guy.
Oh, Jesus Christ. He looks like a robot.
That's what I'm saying. He looks like the default... He looks like a default Sims character.
Yeah, he looks
But here's the thing. Here's what will sell me on him as Harry Osborn. The image of this white boy in waves is so unbelievably cursed, and I want to unleash that evil on the world. Like nothing else.
Somebody actually try and do waves on a white guy and, like, make it actually work somehow.
I don't know. I've seen edits of like a Willem Dafoe with waves that are just fucking hilarious. Like I'm kind of convinced that like waves on a white person will never look good. But like I don't know, the image is so cursed that I want to put it in a movie just for the chaos.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Oh God!
Jesus, that is hard to look at.
He's an Osborn. He needs the waves.
No, this is Norman Osborn. You should get the actor who played Harry in those movies.
I don't know. I don't think anybody...
Also, Judge, perfect reaction. Judge says, "Thank you kindly for the birthday message earlier." And Judge is like, also, Christ, that second picture. And it'll make sense in context. That's all I'll say.
I don't think it'll ever make sense in context, but no, that's my reasoning for wanting Timmy Champagne in as Harry Osborn.
I love that
white people in waves are cursed, and I'm not saying his name. I'm not saying his real name. White people in waves are cursed, and I want to traumatize as many people as I can.
This is so mean.
I am.
This is so
okay, but what do the other people have to say about their castings?
Right, Mono, I'll take care of first because they had to go last. They mention basically they want to have a redo of Hellboy, but base it off of Seed of Destruction. Keep David Harbour as Hellboy, but change his look to be more comic accurate. Doug Jones stays as Abe Sapien. Ian McShane can stay as Professor Broom. And she's having trouble with Liz Sherman or Rasputin. But but to inform the casting decision, they went with, I'd want it to be a return to form with an emphasis on environmental, atmospheric horror and action. And the last bit is, I want to do my man some justice, which is not wrong to want. So, if you got anybody who would fit like a Liz Sherman and a Rasputin in a kind of an atmospheric horror vibe, otherwise that's Mono's suggestion. Marz?
Random off the top of my head, Keira Knightley.
Keira Knightley as Liz?
Yeah.
I don't see why not.
Just off the top of my head.
Not a bad one. Marz didn't really have an answer because they can't do fan casts, which is fair. We had a whale of a time trying to figure out some of our fan casts anyway, so I don't blame them. And Mono, I'm just gonna read this first bit. Oh please no, I've never been any good with fan casts. Crying emojis. I can throw out some DC characters I have floating around, namely Morena Baccarin. How do you say that name?
Moira?
Morena Baccarin.
I don't know them.
I'm gonna look them up real quick, but they want that person as Catwoman, so I'm gonna look that up real quick. Oh, a Brazilian actress. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna say that I think she could work. I'm just gonna send it to you guys real quick. This is the actress who I have name dropped.
No idea. Oh, she looks yeah, I remember her. Oh, yeah. Where do I know her from?
Now, her as Catwoman is Maddie's pick.
She could work, definitely. Fuck, who is she?
I will look it up once I finish the rest of...
I'll do it myself.
Okay, excellent. John Hamm as Batman, which is an interesting move. Alicia Silverstone as Bet Kane, which I like that because Bet Kane never gets any love.
She was Deadpool's girlfriend. That's how I know her.
Vanessa.
That's where I know her from.
Vanessa. Yeah. Okay, cool. Kelly Hu as Lady Shiva. I forgot Kelly Hu also does live action shit, so that's another good one too. Zachary Quinto as Red Tornado. Any bells?
The name rings a bell. I'm gonna look them up for a second.
Okay. And meanwhile, Reese Witherspoon is Lady Blackhawk. They may not be dead set on it, but I love that.
Wait, who did they say Zachary Quinto?
Red Tornado.
I'm not too certain about the casting, but anything to get Zachary Quinto more roles, yes, please. This man deserves all the roles.
What was he in last that you can remember?
Okay, so the two big breakout roles that he had before he just faded into obscurity was first he had his breakout role as Sylar on Heroes, if you remember that.
Never saw the show.
I saw the sequel show.
I recommend it purely for Zachary Quinto as Sylar. He is like the breakout character of the whole show, and it's a brilliant character.
Wait, was he the Asian guy who could
No.
I think it was time travel?
No, he was the guy. He was the serial killer who stole people's powers.
Oh.
Yeah.
I only saw the sequel show with, the time-traveling Asian guy stuck in a video game.
Okay, no, Zachary Quinto was he was the main antagonist for the first season, and then just sort of swam around as an anti-character, causing problems or trying to go on his own character arc. He was the breakout character of the show. He also played Spock in the rebooted Star Trek movies.
Oh, that's where I've seen this guy.
Yeah, he is an amazing actor, and then he just faded after Spock, and he deserves way more roles after that. He is an amazing actor.
Yeah, I could totally see that.
I'm not about Red Tornado just because it's not a very... It's a very subdued character who doesn't really get the spotlight a lot of the time, and after Spock, I want this guy to have a spotlight role again.
Okay, that's completely fair. Maddie does mention that with the exception of Zachary Quinto and Kelly Hu's roles, that he basically just casted through the names in mind based off of vibes.
Mm.
So, Morena Baccarin as Catwoman, John Hamm as Batman, and Alicia Silverstone as Bat Kane, and Reese Witherspoon as Lady Blackhawk. Those were just off vibes. And I actually agree with the Kelly Hu one and the Reese Witherspoon one a lot. And Morena could definitely do a Catwoman. I'm just very curious as to how a John Hamm Batman would be. Because wasn't he in a 60s rich guy show?
I don't remember
Suits
John Hamm.
or something? The hell was he in?
I remember him. Yeah, he was Mad Men.
That's who
Yeah.
it was.
I don't see this guy as... No, this guy is a Tommy Elliott character. Have this guy play Tommy Elliott.
Ooh. I like the idea of him being Hush. I like that.
He would be a really good Hush.
Oh. Now I realize something that now kind of just hit me square in the face.
What?
That have you ever noticed that there's just been a shitload of Skip the Dishes commercials that have the one super handsome dude and his intern Jared or whatever?
No.
Okay, well I'm gonna find one and link it in here, but yeah, John Hamm is doing Skip the Dishes commercials right now. He's doing a bunch of them. So here's probably the most famous one, I think. But I think he's still doing Skip the Dishes commercials because I keep getting them in my YouTube feed, and it's a little bit obscene. But yeah, there's him doing a Skip the Dishes commercial
Gotcha.
where he pretends to be Canadian, which is kind of hilarious. But I think that's everybody doing the casting thing, which means 3.25 hours later, we have finished this episode of the WraithCast.
Yay!
I'm just happy that everybody was able to come in, even if it was for a little bit. We got to do birthday wishes with Judge, leading to probably the most entertaining reaction I have ever seen to the picture of Willem Dafoe with waves.
And I got to spread Willem Dafoe with waves to more poor unfortunate souls.
I hate you for that. But quick Chamber of the Wraith. Quick WraithCast announcement thingamajig. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a different theme for the beginning of October for the first week-ish of October, just because, follow up with the theming. But we are definitely the week of Halloween. We are definitely doing a Halloween special, like between the 24th and the 31st, somewhere in there. We definitely have to do some sort of Halloween theme thing. I don't know what, but we definitely have to do it. And that
I have a one-on-one episode idea I want to run by you after this for October.
Sure thing. But for now, I will be sure to make mention of October's non-spooky theme relatively soon. Don't forget to be awesome, my friends, and we'll see you guys on the other side.